Chestnut Hill. Back to receive for Boston College, Timmy Frazier and Tracy Giles. And here we go. Not a deep kick, and that is Giles at about the 18. Bounces over to about the 27-yard line, where the Eagles will take over on offense for the first time. And for BC, you got to look out for Tom Waddle. The split in, he ranks number 4 in the nation, with catches per game at 7.4 catches per contest. Quite a player. That was a 14-yard kickoff return, and BC can play some football up in the air. And there he is, Mike Power, the 6'2", 180-pound senior out of Westboro, Mass. 2 touchdowns in the final 6 minutes against Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. Comes out firing. He's got his man at the 38-yard line. That is Waddle, a man we just referred to. And this kid, he can catch any ball that's thrown up there.
Yes, sir.
So you can see some impressive stats for Waddle. Offensive line, left guard Joe Wolf. This guy is a monster. 6'6", 284, All-American candidate. Doug Wydell does a fine job at right tackle. You see the shifting going on. We got 2 men wide out right. That's the handoff to Bell, and he has smothered the line of scrimmage. In fact, there may be a loss on the play. Carter Giles brings him down.
BC likes to come up in multiple formations, do a lot of shifting, a lot of motion. That time they came with a single back. They had 3 receivers to one side, and they ran Bell back inside. And we have an injury on the field as we look at the defensive lineup for Rutgers, led by Steve Tompkins and George Bankos at the defensive tackle positions.
No gain on the play, and I think that's number 33, the ball carrier, Jim Bell, the senior out of Madison, Connecticut, top rusher for BC this year.
Jim Bell has been the mainstay of the running game as well as the passing game, because he can catch the ball out of the backfield in Jack Bicknell's offense, and it would be a terrific loss for BC to lose him early on here. He's been just a tremendous football player throughout his career.
That's right. Last year, rushed for more than 1,000 yards, became the 7th player in Boston College history to do so. And they're working on him down there. It looks like it might be a, well, I don't even speculate, really. It looks like they got the leg up in the air, but no gain on the play, incidentally.
Okay, that time BC came out throwing the ball right away. We can expect that kind of a game today, Corey, where they're going to open up the offense. They'll throw on any down, and they're taking Jimmy Bell off the field, and it looks like it might be his left leg, perhaps his left knee.
Perhaps we can see on the replay how this happened, Bob.
33 here, trying to run up inside behind his left tackle, Quitchoff. He gets hit as he spins. You see that leg is extended, and it is the left leg is extended as he was hit. Let's hope for the best here. Okay.
Tim Frazier and Duke St. Pierre, your running backs, as BC will show you all kinds of formations. That is Frazier in motion. Draw play, St. Pierre, and he booms his way across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Duke St. Pierre, the senior out of Danvers, Mass.
St. Pierre and the fullbacks for Boston College are really blockers, sometimes a receiver. He's only carried the ball coming into this game 6 times. They may have to look at the fullback a little bit more if there's an injury to Bell, and they have to go with Frazier at tailback.
Get a quick look at the DB set for Rutgers. Darren Sellers could be the best back there. It is 3rd and 3, and Frazier, I don't think he made it. Stopped at the line of scrimmage at about the 48-yard line. So Rutgers defense holds here on the first possession for BC. Carter Giles, a senior out of Montoursville, Pennsylvania, makes the stop. And it's punting time for the Eagles on their first possession. That's David Rooney, and he booms one up at about the 10-yard line, and Vaughn McCoy is hitting it hard, dragged back to about the 5-yard line. And Rooney, who's coming back today, he'd been injured. He'd broken an ankle at a skateboarding incident.
That's right, and the punting game was something that they were very concerned about. As a matter of fact, as people looked at this game, they said, hey, the advantage may be to Rutgers in their kicking game just because of that. But Rooney came back with a great punt, field it inside the 10-yard line, something you don't like to do. And by fielding it inside the 10-yard line, he has put his team, Rutgers, in this position of starting out 97 yards away. That's, excuse me, 95 yards away.
Either way, it's a long way, Bob. Yeah. Scott Erney, a quarterback for Rutgers, threw 3 interceptions last week. He fires to begin and nowhere close. That ball intended for number 81, Brett Mersola.
He had backside pressure that time, and that's where they came from. They came from the right side on Scott Erney and hit him just about as he was about to release the ball, and it came from the nose tackle, Chris Gilday.
Offensive line for Rutgers, Steve Tardy, the right tackle. He can be a dominant force, a real technician. He's 6'5", 270. Keep your eye on him. 2nd and 10, sweeping the right side. That's Mike Botti. Mike Botti, who has performed very well, in fact, exceeding expectations, I think, this year for Rutgers.
Mike Botti is came in here as a tailback. He doesn't have the speed to be a great tailback. They put him at fullback, and he's got more speed than most fullbacks have. He has been a big part of their offense all year. Last week, he was very quiet against Syracuse. He may be a big factor today if they can get him into their offensive scheme.
All right, 3rd and 3, single back. Erney tosses it up, incomplete, and that was a pass that Botti should have had. A quick pass, and that's the kind of offense that Rutgers will show us today. A controlled little dink and duck thing, and he should have had that ball, Bob.
But here we see it from the end zone as he tries to hit him coming out of the backfield. This is something Rutgers will do all day. Keep the ball short, get it to their backs or their receivers coming underneath. That time Botti didn't handle it, and Rutgers is going to be forced to punt here, and BC has a great chance of getting field position very quickly.
Matt O'Connell, the punt for Rutgers. He's been consistent for 4 years. This year averaging just over 41 yards. Marcus Cherry lets it go, and it's bounding down inside the 30 to the 27-yard line, and that is some kind of punt for O'Connell. So BC will take over for the 2nd time today inside their own 30. We're scoreless early in the first, a 56-yard punt.
A performance you won't forget. The new Ford Pro GT.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Kind of music reminds me of this bar we used to go to up in Allentown. Every Saturday night they had this dance. You know how it is when you first go into a bar where there's a dance, you're a little bit shy or bashful. A couple pretty smiles from the girls in there. Rolling Rock, man, you're ready to really shake it up. That's where I met my wife. That's where I met both of them.
Back at Chestnut Hill and Alumni Stadium, bad news for the Boston College ground game. Tailback Jim Bell has sprained his left knee. It's heavily bandaged, and they say he won't be back today.
Wow.
That is bad news, but Tim Frazier is not a bad guy to have in there at tailback behind Bell. He rushed for 60 yards against Pittsburgh. Exciting player, has a lot of acceleration. He can really make things happen out there, but Bell is the experienced guy that they've depended on for so long. So it is a big disappointment, I'm sure, for Jack Bicknell. Toner and Frazier are your backs. 2nd time that BC will take over offensively on their own 29-yard line. Straight drop back. Power finds Frazier, and he is stacked up at about the 34-yard line, maybe the 33, by Sellez.
Little quick screen in the flat to Frazier. As you were talking about Frazier, Frazier was the only freshman to start last year for the BC Eagles, and he is an elusive back. He's quick. He can do it all. We'll probably see more today of Mike Sanders, a sophomore out of North Carolina. He'll probably come in to alternate at tailback with the injury to Jim Bell.
2nd and 5. Backs now in the eye. Second man through is Frazier. He tries to cut it up. He does so. First down, yardage, and then some, but the ball is out but they rule he was down at the 44.
And that's Fraser's talent, the ability to get on the corner with speed and then the quickness to turn it up. And he does have good moves as we look at number 21, Timmy Fraser, out of Lynn, Massachusetts. Here's a little handoff. He's trying to break it anywhere he sees daylight. He decides to go wide with it and gets up into the seam and gets the first down.
So Boston College getting it done here in the second possession via the ground. 1st and 10 from the 44. Toner, your fullback. Fraser is the tailback. And Fraser gets it again and finds more room across midfield down to the Rutgers 47-yard line.
That play was designed to go off tackle, but with his quickness, he bounced it on the outside right away and turned what may have been a no gain into a big gain for BC, and that's what they've got to do. They're keeping it on the ground here with Tim Fraser, and Fraser's going to the sideline, giving him a little rest.
Fraser so far, 3 carries, 20 yards. Ed Toner, the single back, and he'll get the football and the first down as BC gets the ball inside the Rutgers 45-yard line.
One of the concerns is Rutgers has given up yardage on the ground this year against almost everybody they've played. They've had trouble with the option. They've had trouble with the running game. And I'm sure BC, although they don't run much of an option game, they want to run that tailback from tackle to tackle. And that time they had Ed Toner back there, a fullback, running up inside to get the first down.
Power drops back, fires, and throws it out there for Giles, incomplete at the 38-yard line.
As you watch BC through the years and Jack Bicknell and his offense, he likes to throw the ball on first down. He throws controlled or play action passes. You can expect that a lot today. They're not afraid to throw the ball from anywhere in the field as we look at Jim Bell on the sideline. Got his left knee elevated, and there you can see the injury. Tough break for a great football player.
All right, 2nd and 10. Fraser and Toner in the I formation. The give to Fraser. Left side, tries to spin his way inside the 40 and does so. He is tackled there by Timmy Lester.
He's running to the left side of the line of scrimmage behind that All-American Joe Wolf at left guard. As you see the block there, 64 leading him up on the linebacker. But look at the quickness. There was nothing there. He bounced off his blockers and made yardage out of nothing, and he's looking at a 3rd and long.
3rd and 5. Just inside the Rutgers 40-yard line. That's Toner, your single back. Power, and he is being rushed. He's a good scrambler. Going to throw it up and incomplete, really to nobody out there. Saw he was in trouble, just unloaded. George Bankos, the man chasing him in the backfield. So Rutgers defense comes up with a big play.
And Dick Anderson's right up the sideline. He's very upset because he said, who did he throw the ball to? But rarely are you going to get that call. That time he unloaded the ball. He was smart to do it. Rutgers defense holds in a crucial situation because BC had field position on him. We're going to get another punt.
So Rooney's back in. A few moments ago, he booted one 42 yards. Have a chance to pin Rutgers in close. Going to let it go, and it gets a BC bounce down at the 5-yard line by number 87, Brett Chico. So once again, the Scarlet Knights left the work out of poor field possession. That time a 33-yard punt, but a perfect one. We're no score early in the first quarter here at Chestnut Hill. Got it. Tap me on the shoulder.
This man is going to Tokyo and Osaka on serious business, and some of the best people in his field are going along. They're participating in an important exhibition, so their reservations, flight time, ground transportation, equipment, everything's got to go right. That's why they went with the airline that has a proven track record in the Pacific. Which airline did the U.S. College All-Star teams choose when they played this year's Japan Bowl? Japan Airlines, comfortably ahead worldwide.
Hey, isn't this Canon's new personal zoom copier?
No, it's the Queen Mary.
The zoom feature really magnifies my image.
Or cuts you down to size.
And Canon replaceable cartridges sure make it easy to maintain. Like my other PC.
Well, have you come to praise the PC-7 or to buy it?
Listen, Canon's personal zoom copier is the newest star in my family.
Guess you can't pick your relatives.
Personal copies for every personality, only from Canon.
Started his college football career at Rutgers. That career was cut short because of a neck injury. Went on to Montclair State, where he played basketball and baseball, but he's got a lot of close ties to New Jersey. These coaching staffs know each other very well. Once again, Rutgers deep in their own territory. And that's Erney handing off to Mike Botti, who barrels across for about 3 yards. And Bob, what about the layoff that Boston College had? They've had a week off here. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Go both ways.
It can, exactly, because if you're injured or you're banged up, it's always nice to have time off and know you don't have a game coming up that Saturday. But also, it takes you a little while to get back into the rhythm of a game, and perhaps the BC offense, the first 2 series, showed that. It may take them a quarter or more to get back into the flow of the game.
2nd and 9 for Rutgers. And you saw Chris Gildy, the nose tackle, bounce across and touch the center, Jeff Erickson, for Rutgers. Going to be a penalty here. All right, so good break for the Scarlet Knights.
There's no, and you look at Gilday, number 59, right to the left of the center. He just jumps. He shouldn't do that. He's right on the center. He's looking at the football. He should be going on movement. There's no excuse for it, but he's over anxious. He's been off for a good couple of weeks. That may be part of it all.
Sure, it could be.
The anticipation, yes.
So suddenly it's 2nd and 4.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. We'll resume our programming as soon as the problem is corrected.
First carry of the day. Gets a couple yards. Henry Henderson, the little guy at Akron, Ohio, 5'6", 166.
He's quick, and they look for Henry Henderson. He was injured earlier on in the season. That gave James Can a chance to come in at tailback and play very well, so they've been alternating. But Henry Henderson has the ability to break that line of scrimmage, and he doesn't need a lot of room to do it, and he can go all the way. I'm kind of impressed by the fact that Rutgers is sticking the ball on the ground. Of course, they don't have good field position. They don't want any turnovers in this field position. But they too, like BC, can throw any time at any place.
2nd and 8. Eric Young in the slot. But the give is to Botti, again left side. Kind of works his way up to about the 29 before Duran forces him up. He's about a yard short of the first down.
But what a great job of blocking on the corner by the tight end, James Jenkins, number 82. He went up on the outside linebacker, got into Caesar's face, who's very quick, and gave Botti a chance to get on the corner. That's 2 plays consecutively that Botti has turned the ball back into the sideline, gotten good yardage, and it's all because of the blocking of James Jenkins, who's been a very quiet player for Rutgers. He's a guy they thought had tremendous potential. He has really not come along as fast as they had hoped.
Botti and Can. Along with, there's Can as he tries to get it across, but I believe he's a little bit short, Bob.
Oh, yeah, great effort on the right side of the defensive line of BC. And Can never had a chance to cut this thing back to find a seam. It's going to be awfully close.
Botti so far today, 24 yards, so 4 carries, average of 6 per carry. Going to bring the chains out and take a quick look and see how close they are. See this again.
Watch the right side of defensive line. Watch the fill by the linebacker there, Kelly, coming up in and never giving Botti a chance to cut it back. There was an opening, but he never got that chance. Look at this measurement.
Ooh.
Whew. He made the stripe there.
Gee, that's about as close as you can come, I think. So, Rutgers gets it done at the 30-yard line, their own 30-yard line. Talking about Botti, you may remember him from the big Penn State victory, a 57-yard touchdown run. And that's him again with the football. And he slips and falls at about the 32. The slippery turf down there. We see a flag on the field. And Ivan Caesar, the man to push him down.
Ivan Caesar was trying to get off the block at Jenkins, and they got Jenkins that time. And the call's going to go against Rutgers. Here it is. Anyway, it's going to go against 82, James Jenkins, blocking on Ivan Caesar on the corner. As you watch it here, watch to the right of the screen, and you'll see Jenkins blocking 88 as he pushes him out. He's got his arm tied around him, and that's where the official threw the flag. That's a tough block. They're asking a tight end to block an outside linebacker one-on-one. If Jenkins can do that effectively today, that's going to help the Rutgers game. But Ivan Caesar is a very active football player at 6'1", 218, and he's one of the reasons that BC's defense has been surprising in recent weeks, because the outside linebacker play of Lindstrom and Caesar has been outstanding.
4 receivers in the game for Rutgers on 1st and 18. Erney fires and hits his man. That's Rico Lobby on the tackle. Tyrone McQueen made the grab.
That's the kind of passing game you can expect today out of Rutgers. The short, controlled passing game. Keep the ball in front. Try and give their backs or their receivers a chance to run from the underneath. Why? Because BC loves to play zone coverage. Rarely do they come after you. They want to get in zone. They make you work for everything. They won't let you get deep if they can help it.
Young and Jackson to the near side. Again, 2nd and 18. Erney, short drop, fires near side, and he's got his guy. That is number 83, Randy Jackson. Nice run up to the 40, and he's very close to first down yardage.
Underneath passing game. Get the ball to your receiver. Let him make a move on the defensive back. Randy Jackson out of Washington, Pennsylvania is a guy they like a lot. He's not big. He's 5'7", about 165, but he's awfully quick. And look at that move he makes on number 48, Brian Williams, to get by him and get upfield, and they got another close measurement.
You know, you look at the receivers for Rutgers, they're all about that size. Mersola, 5'8", 168. Eric Young, 5'7", 160. McQueen, 5'8", 170. They're all little guys. They all can move out there.
And they all try to find that seam on you and get upfield, and they do it very effectively.
First down, Rutgers across the 40-yard line. And Eric Young, who's been hampered by a shoulder injury, may be a key player today. He really is their very best receiver. He had a record-tying 13 catches in the Vanderbilt loss, but he's only caught 1 ball in the last 2 weeks, and they're looking for big things from him as he tries to come back from this shoulder injury. Erney rolling, throwing on the run, and that ball is incomplete, intended for Tyrone McQueen, far side. Steve Williams, nice coverage, Bob.
Steve Williams is probably as fine a defensive cornerback as they've had at BC in Jack Bicknell's tenure, and he shows why. He reacts to the football so well, and he's got size at 6'1", almost 190 pounds.
Looks like Mike Botti has been shaken up out there at about the 37-yard line, getting up slowly.
Botti, of course, is a veteran. He's a senior. Came here as a tailback out of Long Island, like Ronkonkoma, New York. He's up and running off the field.
Looks like he'll be okay. And running in is Andre Yates to replace him. Senior out of East Orange, New Jersey.
A lot of substitutions. Rutgers substituting their wide receivers on every play. 2 or 3 different receivers coming in. And that's part of their philosophy. They do a lot of their substituting with their receivers. They get the play call or get the information into Scott Erney.
Now McQueen and Mersola wide right. Mersola in motion. Handoff, Henderson, and Henderson hit Duran, comes up from the weak safety spot and drills Henderson about the 42-yard line.
Henderson looking for the cut all the time, but he met Ed Duran, and you mentioned him earlier. Duran is a solid veteran. He's the mainstay of the defense. He's been around. He's a senior. 37 solo tackles. Watch number 5 as he comes in, plays it perfectly, and makes the hit in the open field.
In fact, he is the second leading tackler on this club behind Kelly and Saylor, the backers, and they like to say he hits harder than Roberto Duran. Of no relation, incidentally. 3rd and 7, Erney going back. Fires, and it is caught, almost dropped, but a nice recovery. James Jenkins at about the 48-yard line, but it's not good enough for the first. And again, Duran is there to make the hit.
You know, it's interesting about the Rutgers passing game. In recent years, the tight end has been a very important part of it, but this year they just haven't gotten the production out of it. But they've looked to James Jenkins to come along and improve. He's a highly regarded prospect a year ago. He makes a tough catch there because Duran was right in his face. But here's a crucial call early for Dick Anderson.
Dick Anderson says, yes, we will go for it. It's 4th down and really less than a yard right at midfield. You got 3 men in the backfield. Everybody knows it's going to be a handoff, but to whom? The answer is Botti, and the answer is yes, a first down. So Dick Anderson successful in his first gamble in his football game. Kelly and Saylor come up to make the stop, but not before the first down yardage is gained.
And that's a big call and a good call by Coach Anderson, because what it does is it gets his team up a little bit emotionally. He took a chance. It worked well. And watch Botti, number 31, coming out of this thing, running up behind Andre Yates, the fullback. Good hole on the left side from Nick Erda and Bill Hyrus, the left tackle. Good job. First down, and Rutgers maintains control. We've got a lot of injured players out here, and there's another BC player on the ground as we look at Mike Botti.
Looks like it's Chris Gilday, the senior.
Right, Gilday's the nose tackle. He's had his share of injuries, and that's been a tough position for BC this year. Trying to find somebody to get in there and play regularly. Gilday, Andy Clare, a sophomore's tried it, but it's been one of their weak points because of the lack of consistency and time by the players. They've been banged up a little bit.
Very big game for both teams. You know, we talked yesterday to several of the players. Scott Erney, as you know, Scott, you almost got to win this game today. You want to get to the bowl. He's talked about that. Have an opportunity for a bowl bid, and they say, yeah, we really got to go out. We got to win this game today to set up our chances for a bowl opportunity.
Well, there's been interesting conversation with Scott Erney and why he came to Rutgers, because he was from Pennsylvania, grew up in the shadow all his life of Penn State, but he made the choice for just the reason you expressed it. He wanted to come somewhere where he could play soon, and hopefully make a program, establish a program.
Trying to change the perception of Rutgers, and they certainly have gone a long way to doing that with victories over Michigan State and Penn State this year. Botti gets the ball, and he's got some room across the 40 down to the BC 39-yard line. Ed Duran and Matt Kelly combine to make the stop.
It looks the BC defense right now looks very sluggish, particularly their up front people, not reacting well to the football. And it may be that they've been off a week, and it may take them a while to get back into it. But the Rutgers offensive line, as you look at Dick Anderson on the left side, really opened the hole for Botti to cut back. Dick Anderson, as you mentioned earlier, in his 5th season at Rutgers, graduate of Penn State, has really developed this program in so many ways.
Flags up. Looks like a little bit of movement. Was it Gilday again? Clare. Andy Clare.
Andy Clare, the substitute, coming in at the nose position. Jump before the snap. It's going to give Rutgers an easy 5 yards, and they're starting to push now deeper into BC territory.
Remember, this drive started way back on the 6-yard line. 13-play drive as Rutgers is eating up the clock here. 3:16 to go here in the first quarter. There is no score. Eagles and Scarlet Knights here at homecoming at Boston College. Beautiful sunny day.
Crowd is filling in. They're still coming in. The stands are filling up.
All right. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Again, a single setback is Botti. That was Henderson in the slot, and Botti looking for room, and he just kind of ambles his way across the 30 down to about the 28-yard line. Again, Duran and Peter Gray are there. Duran is everywhere, isn't he?
Duran is everywhere, and fortunately, he's a great player, but you don't want your free safety making that many tackles. That tells you they're getting beyond your linebackers and your down linemen. That time they ran behind Bill Hyrus, who's the offensive left tackle, starting today in the place of Bill Milano. Hyrus made the block, gave Botti a chance to get upfield.
So it's 2nd and 4 now. In motion, Mersola. Toss to Henderson. Henderson tries to sweep the left side, but he's forced out at about the 24-yard line. Very close to the first. Might have gotten it. Ivan Caesar, the man to push him out. And you talk about BC's defense maybe looking a little sluggish. On the season, they're allowing 409 yards in total offense per game. So
They've had their problems. They've had their problems with injuries. They've had their problems with interior line play. And there's no question people have moved the ball on the ground against them. It's interesting to note that Rutgers, going down the field on the left hash mark, is predominantly running back into the boundary, into the sideline with their fullback and their tailback, and making good yardage.
15th play of the drive, 1st and 10. Rutgers still moving the ball. Henderson on the draw play. This time not going to work very well. Number 88 in there. Ivan Caesar along with Mike Saylor.
Mike Saylor, the linebacker, the senior who was out with a knee injury last year, came up and made the hit, and he is a very active guy. But actually, if you look at the history of BC defense, Bill Romanowski in the past, their linebackers have usually been their leading tacklers. They're very active. They protect their linebackers and give them a chance to be freed up to make the hits.
Well, Saylor and Kelly are the co-leaders coming into today's ball game in tackles with 67 on the year. Saylor getting his chance this year after mostly being a special teams guy the last couple seasons. Minute 37 to go here in the first. Erney on 2nd and 9. Incomplete pass at the 20. That ball intended for James Jenkins.
He sure takes a chance here as you look at Rico Lobby, the strong safety man who was tied all over him. Watch this as the tight end will come across your screen from left to right, and Lobby's right on him. And that is a tough coverage. And that's really a dangerous pass, and I'm surprised that Scott Erney let that one go. Looked like two receivers were too close together, defenders in the area. Rutgers fortunate there, they didn't come up with an interception.
All right, now Boston College, a chance for their defense to come up with the big play. Critical moment here, 3rd and 9. Rutgers 0 for 3 on 3rd down so far. Erney throws it up, and it is caught. He may have the first down. That's Randy Jackson pushed out at about the 8-yard line by Brian Williams. And we'll see where they mark it. It looks to me as if it is good for the first down.
Hey, that's a clutch pass and a great catch again by Jackson. Two receivers here to the right side, one in the slot, one wide. He goes to the wide man, Jackson, who makes the catch with Brian Williams, the cornerback, draped all over him. Coming into this game, Corey, Rutgers was going to work on Brian Williams, the right cornerback for BC. They were trying to find somebody they may think they have an advantage on, and they felt that Williams was one guy they'd like to try.
First down, Rutgers. Anderson in the slot, the give to Botti, and he barrels inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. Ed Durant is there to make the hit. And I thought Jackson did a good job as he was pushed out in that play, where he tried to get that foot over for the extra yard, make sure he got that first down yardage, and he did so.
He did so. And the offensive line of Rutgers doing a job here. The left side of Hyros at left tackle, Nick Erda at left guard. Good blocking, giving Mike Botti a chance inside the 10-yard line to pick up 5 yards.
And they continue to work that left side, a classic Rutgers-type drive. Controlled offense, short passing, draw plays. Mersola in motion. The toss to Henderson, and he leaps up in the air. Boy, is he hit at about the 5-yard line. Rico Lobby sends him flying. And Henderson's kind of like a little missile, isn't he, Bob?
He sure is, and he's quick, and he has no fear at all. That time he hurdled the line. He didn't get the first down, but he's inside the 5. But why are they running back into the sideline? Because usually most defenses are set up to defend the wide side of the field. So they're trying to take advantage and put their attack with their tight end back into the sideline, and they're making yardage, and they've got a 3rd and short inside the 5.
Henderson had a big game last year against BC, rushing for 100 yards. Again, big play Rutgers. Handoff, Jimmy Can, and he gets nothing. Stacked up there, and again, it's all about where the ball is going to be placed here on the 3rd and 1.
That was a great play defensively by number 52, the defensive tackle for BC. That's Jim Bystek. He came in and he got Can before he could ever cut. And again, Dick Anderson inside the 5 is faced with a 4th down situation.
4th down, as you recall, they tried it before on the 4th down at midfield and made it. So they're 1 for 1 on 4th down attempts. Only 6 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Time running out. I think they're going to just let the clock go, and we'll see what Anderson comes up with as we begin the second quarter here with 4th and 1 from the 4-yard line. See what Rutgers can do. Again, we're scoreless here at the end of 1 at Chestnut Hill. Back in a minute.
When it comes to owner loyalty, every domestic and import car division takes a backseat to Ford. Because Ford owners in households all over America have proven their loyalty to Ford by buying another Ford.
Winning the world over. Have you been behind the wheel? In a Ford. Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
You get a strange quality to the sound, yes. See if you can get a little bit more strength into the finger on it.
Now, in scene 8,
this is where it starts to weaken, really here. The motivation comes up here.
That's lovely.
Corey McFerrin, Bob Cassiola, and Steve Martin here at Chestnut Hill, Mass. Rutgers and the Boston College Eagles. It's homecoming here at BC, and Rutgers with a chance to get on the board. There is no score as we begin the second quarter. Ball on the 4-yard line. It's 4th and 1, and right now it appears that Dick Anderson is going to go for the first down.
The ball is sitting just inside the 4-yard line. He's got to get just inside the 3-yard line. It's exactly a yard away. It's 4th down, and he's going to make a big gamble here. He's got Scott Erney in the ball game. He's got with him Mike Botti. The tailback is Jimmy Kahn.
They got Andre Yates in there, so it's going to be a power eye most likely.
Exactly, and they're going to probably look to get that yard and get in here and try and get a score.
All right, big play. They're stopped here. They come away empty after a 20-play drive that began on their own 6. It is the I formation. Pitch back. Looks like he's got it. I don't know. Good defensive pressure comes up. Jimmy Can. And again, it's all up to where they spot it. It's impossible to tell from right here, right now, if it's good enough. Rutgers a big spot.
That's right. Absolutely. And it was a toss. He was just looking for a seam. And Rutgers is saying, hey, we got it.
And Scott Blantz, the tight end, says, yeah.
It's going to be interesting. They're going to measure. You bet. That's the referee.
Think Dick's sweating over there? Here we go. What do you think? John Sophie, the referee.
There it is.
Looks good from here.
Tough angle, but he said, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
First down. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. That would have been awful for Rutgers psychologically to work that ball so hard, bring the ball 90-some yards down the field and have it all in right there at the 3.
Very interesting ball game. You've seen two teams that love to throw the ball. We went through that first quarter rather quickly because they're keeping it on the ground. There's the stats. Look at the rushes by Rutgers. 63 yards, and we're just beginning the second period.
Yates, your single setback. Botti in motion. The give to Botti. Up the middle. Touchdown, Rutgers. As Botti pounds across, and Rutgers is on the board here at BC.
Continue to run to the left side. That time they came out with a double wing. You called it, with Yates in the fullback position. Brought Botti back in motion and handed him the ball. Watch from the right side here, but he's going off left tackle with Hyros and Erda and John Kutz leading the way. Great job by the left side of the offensive line for Rutgers, and they get that score. A very impressive drive.
Certainly is. As Rutgers scores, and on to attempt the extra point will be Carmen Sclafani, the excellent place kicker for Rutgers. Hit all 14 of his PATs this year, and you can make it 15 out of 15. So the Scarlet Knights are up 7-0. Rutgers going after their 3rd consecutive win over BC. Beat them last year 38-24. It's 7-0 right now. Back after this word from your local stations. Thank you.
On highway or off, all the tire between you and the road is this, about the width of your finger. That's why you need exclusive Bridgestone technology. Every Bridgestone tire is quality engineered from the ground up. So Bridgestone builds more than tires that perform. Bridgestone builds confidence. On highway or off-road, remember this. And remember Bridgestone.
Buy the same tires that Roger Mears wins on. Check your yellow pages for the Bridgestone dealer nearest you.
Jim Courter is a leader for New Jersey's future. In Congress, Jim led the way for lower taxes, creating jobs and igniting our economy. Jim Courter is effectively working with me to save our environment. He stood up to James Watt to block oil drilling off the New Jersey shore. And Jim delivered New Jersey's first Superfund cleanup. Now, Jim Courter backs my plan to relieve the pressures of growth with a sensible road and transit network.
Jim Courter, a bright new leader for New Jersey's future.
This game is being brought to you in part by Apple Computer, maker of Macintosh. Personal computers giving you the power to be your best. Bob Cassiola, a drive, 23 plays, 94 yards, a 9-minute and 31-second drive. That's incredible.
That's what every coach dreams about. He wants to get that situation where he controls the ball. I mean, it's like you put it up on the chalkboard and you do it to perfection. But everybody comes into a game looking to have some advantage. Where can they run the ball? Who can they throw it against? And Rutgers made it very, very quickly apparent to everybody that they're going to stay on the left side running and throwing the football. And they did it with tremendous effect.
I think Mike Power had time to go out for lunch, huh? Maybe take a nap.
He sure did. And it could be the fact that BC has been off a week. It may be to get back into the rhythm of a game. It may take them a while. It shouldn't be too long because Rutgers really dominated that quarter.
All right, here's the kickoff. At about the 12, and that's Giles. Gets away from one man and takes it up to about the 29 before he's pushed out. So a good run back by Tracy Giles, senior out of East Douglas, Mass. So finally, Power will get a chance to come back in and see what he can do to even up the score. 20-yard return. And there again, look at that scoring drive. As you say, that is a coach's dream to eat up 9.5 minutes. And again, to keep Boston College's offense off the field, a highly potent offense, obviously. And that's what they've done so far today as we're early in the second quarter. 7-0 Rutgers, and Mike Power calling signals. Zips it out, and that ball deflected up in the air by number 98, Timmy Lester. Good defensive job by Lester.
Good call. Lester, the big guy playing on the defensive end side at 6'5", number 98 right there. Got his hands up as he was looking out here to Marcus Cherry. And that's a big play because it sets your rhythm off. Now you got a 2nd and 10 and a big play for the Rutgers defense. As you watch here, watch the right side of the screen as Power makes the drop, and you'll see the frame of Lester coming up right there.
Handoff Frazier, and he is stacked up at the line. Yard or two, and Rutgers defense seems to be fired up here.
Well, they're rested, that's for sure. He's got plenty of time.
No kidding, no kidding. You know, the whole Power story really is an interesting one, Bob. The way he talks about, the way he wasn't himself against Southern California in that first game, and the fact also that they were a great, great team. And obviously they are one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the nation. But he said he refound his confidence with that great comeback against Pittsburgh. Told me yesterday was the most exciting moment of his entire football career. 3rd and 6. Here's Power. See if he can make something happen. Dumps it out, and Frazier should have had it off his fingertips. Incomplete.
But that's the patience, and there's the difference in Mike Power from a year ago. He didn't, once the receiver didn't come open, he didn't panic at all and start to run. He waited for him. He made a nice pass. Frazier just didn't handle it. They'll come back. But you're right about Mike Power. He's got a lot of confidence. After all, he started every football game last year for BC.
So Rooney into punt again for Boston College. 37.5-yard average so far today. He'll let it rip from about the 24. Good-looking kick. That is McCoy at the 20. Doubles back. Tries to move it up. He's going nowhere. So Rutgers offense will take over again. 42-yard punt. And we'll be back after this word from your local stations.
A message about Drexel Burnham.
The investment banking firm of Drexel Burnham believes that a clean, safe environment is good business.
As a hydrogeochemist at Roy F. Weston, I deal directly with one of America's most pressing problems, cleaning up toxic wastes which threaten to pollute our land and water and endanger the health and safety of our communities. To be effective in our job, it's essential that we have the right equipment. However, this requires substantial financing, so we asked Drexel Burnham for help.
Drexel raised more than $65 million for the purchase of state-of-the-art environmental protection equipment. This equipment provides Weston with the ability to analyze and clean up hazardous materials in the safest, quickest way possible, which will help preserve our air, land, and water.
Because of Drexel's commitment and support, we're responding to health-threatening situations faster and more effectively than ever, and that's good news for all of us.
Drexel Burnham, financing America's future.
I'm Tom Seaver, and I'm pitching again. I've just signed with the guys who've supported the Mets since 1981, the good old guys. My job is to make an Oldsman out of you, and it's going to be easy because there's a new generation of Oldsmobiles, a Cutlass Supreme Dream Machine, a powerful Cutlass Calais Quad 4, and a Cutlass Sierra that can go all the way to #1. The good old guys join me in wishing good luck to a great Mets team. And from here on, I'm pitching to make you an Olds fan.
From the good old guys.
No matter how you drive your engine clean with Mobil Super Unleaded Detergent Gasoline. It can unclog fuel injectors and keep your entire fuel intake system clean. Drive your engine clean with Mobil Super Unleaded, high octane with a plus. Get a free Jets or Giants glass with every fill-up of 8 gallons or more of Mobil Super Unleaded Plus.
Rutgers leads Boston College 7-0 here in the second quarter. 13:37 to go for the half. Rutgers will take over now, 1st and 10 at about their own 20-yard line. Again, it's Scott Erney at quarterback. Erney a chance to set a couple of Rutgers records today. He's a few completions short of the all-time career record for completions. Gets out of trouble, and he goes long up in the air for Jackson, and he dives and cannot make the catch. Coverage out there provided by Jeff Baker. So the first long ball we've seen of the day, Bob. Let's go down to Steve on the sideline.
Well, Corey and Bob, one of the things to look out for is how the Boston College linebackers react to what Rutgers is trying to do offensively with their counter plays, their counter deep handoffs. What's happening is the linebackers are getting cut by the linemen getting out onto them, and that leaves nothing but the defensive backs, and that's why Rutgers has been able to move the ball on the ground.
All right, Steve, 2nd and 10. Handoff Yates, and he's going nowhere. Brian Williams comes up, help make the stop.
And they've determined where they want to run. It's up to the BC defense to pursue and get on the corner. That time Williams came up, made the hit, kept it to a very short gain. One of the reasons the linebackers are getting cut is because the defensive line is not protecting him, and they're permitting that offensive line to get through and get onto those linebackers, and they'll cut them every time. It's up to your front 4 people in this defense to keep those guys occupied so their linebackers are freed up.
So it's 3rd and 8. Sprint out. A toss to Eric Young, his first reception of the day, and he's up to about the 28. Ed Duran hits him there, so Rutgers is short of the first down. Yardage needed, and for Young, surprisingly, here we are, 12 minutes, 30 seconds to go for the half, and Young makes his first grab.
There's a sprint out. They like the sprint, Erney, get him away from the pressure. He just gives the ball to Young right away. This is a good play if he can get upfield and get the first down, but Duran, the ever-present free safety, makes the clutch hit in the open field to keep him from a first down, and BC's going to get the football back.
So Matt O'Connell, the senior out of Bethesda, Maryland, who earlier today boomed out his longest punt of the year. Nice kick here to Marcus Cherry. Cherry, nice move there to cross the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Cherry, of course, on the receiving end of those 2 Mike Power throws in the 4th quarter against Pittsburgh. The dramatic come-from-behind win. 42-yard punt, a 12-yard return from Cherry. And Power and company got to get something going here. It's 7-0. Rutgers, 12:01 to go for the half.
He was a local boy. He was one of ours. That night we were down at John's bar, cheering, drinking Rolling Rock, and Billy was doing beautiful. And then in the 13th round, Lewis Schroeder right. Oh, it broke your heart. More than 100 pretty girls ever could. Billy Quan was our hero then, and he's still our hero today. Here's to you, Billy.
A performance you won't forget. The new Ford Probe GT.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
12:01 to go here in the second quarter. BC on offense. Marcus Cherry coming to the near side. Jim Daines is in there on the other side for BC. Waddle taking a breather. Backs in the eye. Frazier. Doug Kokoski in there.
Big play by Kokoski, the former nose tackle who's had to play because of injuries at the linebacker position. Number 79 came off the block beautifully to make the hit. Never give Frazier a chance to cut. If he gets upfield, if he gets parallel to the line of scrimmage, you got problems. That time he couldn't make the cut. But look at the total yardage here. Double by Rutgers. 109.55 for BC.
2nd and 10. Waddle back in the game. That's Cherry in motion. Power looking for Cherry. He's got him across midfield to the 41-yard line. Jeff Newman is there to make the stop. So BC connects here. Power to Cherry, and their offense is in Rutgers territory.
This is a favorite pattern at Boston College. This is called an in or a dig, where the receiver comes down from the wide side and cuts across the middle at 16 to 18 yards. They do it as well as anybody, both Waddle and Cherry, as we look at it from another angle. And what he does is he makes the catch in traffic. There he is coming from motion and cuts back across the grain. There he is. Beautiful job.
First down, 42-yard line of Rutgers. Toner gets maybe 2 more. 6 foot, 225-pound junior. Give him 3 yards on the play.
BC running a lot from a single back offense. They like to put 2 or 3 receivers to one side. They do it by setting them there or using motion. 1 back remaining, usually the fullback, usually a blocker. Sometimes, in that case, they slip in the football.
And somebody is down for Rutgers. I believe it's Carter Giles. That's right, the 6'1" senior on his back, working on a right knee, it looks like, or a right leg.
Carter Giles, a 2-year starter from Montoursville, Pennsylvania. And they could ill afford to lose him in that defensive line. They've had their problems. They lost an outstanding tackle in Scott Miller in the Penn State game, and they just can't stand those injuries to the interior people.
You know, one interesting thing I noticed in talking to some of the players yesterday as they came in to warm up here on the field is the perception Boston College has now of the Rutgers football program. Power told me, he said, last year when we lost to these guys, we were stunned, we were surprised. He said, what, lose to Rutgers? We can't do that. And he said they came to realize that Rutgers was a very good football team. And this year, for this game, they know darn well that Rutgers is for real, and they have a different kind of a psychological approach as they come into this game, knowing that Rutgers is a power to be reckoned with after the wins over Michigan State and Penn State in particular.
I think it's because of the ability of Rutgers to recruit the kind of players you need to play at this caliber. Big offensive and defensive linemen, active skill position players, and of course the quarterback, Scott Erney. He's absolutely right, and here we go.
2nd and 6. Shimura, the tight end, goes to the right side. Power, plenty of time, looking, firing, and it is incomplete. Looking for a Waddle, almost brought it in. Jeff Newman is there to apply coverage, and Waddle, the kid out of Cincinnati, just about made a fabulous catch.
Boy, they had plenty of time. Power got terrific protection from his offensive line as he looked right from the beginning for his favorite receiver, Tom Waddle, everybody's favorite receiver. But so was Rutgers. They had 3 white jerseys around him. They're very conscious of him coming across the middle. They got linebackers in front of him, defensive backs coming up to make the play. That time they were fortunate in completion.
Waddle on target to break Brian Brennan's all-time BC record. Here on 3rd down again, the pass, Waddle's got it, but I don't think he's there for the first down. He might be a couple inches short. Power put it low.
What a great catch, though. That ball was right on the ground, and he prevented it from hitting the ground and made the catch.
That's the kind of thing Powers says, hey, I throw the ball up for Waddle. I know 2 things are going to happen. He's going to catch it or it's going to be interfered with. And he caught it that time. Watch it.
Split screen here. We see Powers setting up. Watch this catch. Boo! He made it. Just
That's
like a shortstop.
One of the toughest balls to catch, too.
Jack Bicknell is described, and he's had some great receivers here. When you think of Kelvin Martin and Darren Flutie. But he says Tom Waddle is the best they've ever had at just catching the football. He's just got incredible concentration, great hands, and he catches the ones that most people can't make.
BC has called the timeout, obviously, as they face a 4th and 1. Actually, a little bit less than 1, but it's 4th and several inches. And this Waddle is something else. It's funny, Waddle and Mark Camphouse grew up together in Cincinnati, played football ages 7 onward, and told me yesterday, he said that the chemistry they have on the football field is almost mystical, knowing where Waddle's going to be and knowing what kind of ball Camphouse throws, the whole thing. He says he loves to play with power, but with Camphouse, it's something even more special, the way they can communicate on the field. Camphouse, incidentally, tells us that he liked to be back, or like to think he could be back in 4 weeks. He's got that jaw wired up, broken in 4 places, living on a liquid diet. Here we go. 4th and 1. Big play. Handoff, Frazier, and I think his knee went down before he got to the first down strike.
It's going to be a close call. The two officials were right there. The umpire, the referee, the side judge came in. It's going to be a very close call and a quick mark by the official.
Rutgers players bouncing around as if they stopped him, and they very well may have. And again, we'll just have to wait for a second here and figure it out.
We've had 3 very close measurements already in this ball. This is the 3rd one right here.
It looked to me as if Frazier slipped even before contact there, and the knee might have gone down. But here we go, and Rutgers defense has come up big. Frazier's short by about 2 feet, and let's watch it again. Let's see if that knee doesn't come down.
Watch number 79, Kokoski, the left linebacker. He makes the first hit, and he brings him down. He did the job. Big play by the senior linebacker out of Cleveland, Ohio, Doug Kokoski. Kokoski was an outstanding nose tackle for Rutgers. He hurt his knee early last year, missed the entire year, came back this year. They said, hey, we need you at linebacker, and he's played very well in an unfamiliar position.
Young and McQueen, receivers to the near side, but the ball given to Mike Botti, and he is hit immediately. Number 76, David Moore, credited with the stop. Rutgers leading here 7-0. We've got 9:40 to go in the second quarter.
BC has had its problems, we mentioned earlier, in the interior of their line with injuries. Peter Gray, an outstanding tackle, has been banged up this year. David Moore, who just made the hit on that last play, a junior, is now playing at defensive right tackle for him. And, of course, the problems at the nose position with Gilday and Clare, both with injuries and inexperience.
2nd and 8, the rollout. Erney throwing, and he's got Young, and a nice grab by Young into BC territory at about the 47-yard line. And that's the kind of player that Rutgers fans are used to seeing.
The ability to get deep, but watch as Scott Erney, the ability to get deep by Eric Young. Scott Erney's ability to get on the corner and sprint is what makes this play happen. People start to turn and think, hey, he may run the ball and come up and react. But that guy, who's been silent the last 3 weeks, as you indicated, is very important today. Eric Young, he can do it, and he can get deep, and he can find the end zone.
Eric will be the focus of our halftime feature coming up here in a few minutes. Looks like some movement on the left side of the BC line to give to Mike Botti. You see flags all over the place. I think it was Kevin Pearson who jumped over prematurely. They call Young EY, and he has been a tremendous asset to this program. The 61-yard touchdown grab against Michigan State, as you may recall, that was a big play in that upset win to start off the year for Rutgers.
One of the few players around that Dick Anderson permits to miss spring practice.
That's right.
He's an outstanding baseball player.
In fact, his future, as you see the penalty being walked off against BC, his real future may, in fact, lie in the baseball diamond, more so than the gridiron. He hit, what, 337, I think, last spring, 26 stolen bases, a school record.
He's quite a story because he comes out of New Brunswick, New Jersey, where
right there.
Rutgers University is located. So he's a hometown product. That's the kind of mistake you don't need. Jumping offside. That's 3 offside penalties already against BC, and we still have over 8 minutes left in the second period. Those mistakes can kill you, and in a close ball game especially. A little confusion down there. The officials are talking to each other.
They're going to call a stop here for a second. Young walking to the sidelines, and Brett Mersola is in.
There's a little bit of lack of emotion in this BC team at this point. I haven't seen anybody really alive out there, and it may be that it's taken them a while to get back into the rhythm, as I mentioned enough times already, of playing. They haven't played for 2 weeks. Had a great upset win here 2 weeks ago against Pitt, but they seem to lack that fire that they're going to need today.
I think they're trying to rework the clock. A few seconds ticked off that they want to try to reestablish on the scoreboard on the official game clock. And I think they're doing that now. That's the reason for the delay. So again, Rutgers with the football. First and 5 now after the 5-yard penalty. Ball on the 42-yard line. Again, it's 7-0 after that tremendous drive, that 9.5-minute drive that resulted in the short score by Mike Botti from 3 yards out. And again, Botti has been a big figure here today in the offense for Rutgers. Here we go. Brett Mersola, Tyrone McQueen. Top of your screen, but Botti gets the call, looking for some room, but he is upended by Steve Williams. Speedy, they call him, fastest guy on the defense. They tell us, Pete Carmichael, coach for BC, tells us this guy has legit sub 4.5 speed.
He's outstanding. He came up on the corner to make the hit, and also you can sense the BC secondary thinking, hey, it's run. They're starting to crowd the ball a little bit, and Rutgers may very well give him a little play fake and try and burn him deep with their speedy receivers. They're going to have to do that after a while to keep those guys from supporting the run as quickly.
2nd and 3. Erney to throw, pressured, gets it off, and incomplete. The ball intended for 87, Scott Blanche, the tight end.
And he was well covered that time.
Boy, he was. Matt Kelly came in hard, didn't he?
The linebacker picked up as they tried to cross the end. Actually, that's the first time that any pressure has really been put on by the BC front line. They really put pressure on Scott Erney, and he almost threw it away.
So it's 3rd and 3.
Crucial series here. If they can hold them and force them to punt, they're going to get the ball back because Rutgers has the ball in pretty good field position.
Erney 6 of 12 for 57 yards so far today. He's got his man, and that is the tight end Blanche again, who is tackled by a Lobby, and it's 1st down for Rutgers.
One of the rare times that BC blitzed, they brought both linebackers, which forced them into man coverage, which meant the strong safety Lobby is going to tie up on the tight end, number 87, Branch, and watch him pick him up. He read the blitz. He got the ball to the tight end. Short, controlled passing game. We talked about it.
Blanche, not a guy they throw to very much, only his 5th catch of the year. Erney 7 of 13. He's connected with 5 different receivers so far today. Handoff, Botti. He is tripped up quickly. I think Chris Gilday got the arm out to stop Botti from making much damage. Clock ticking down, about 7:23 to go here in the half. There's Erney. Good looking, and Jimmy Cann has played well this year, hasn't he, Bob?
Very interesting. They haven't used him as much today. He was really the running game against Syracuse, but I noticed he's back in the ball game.
Came back in now. He had a big game last week. In fact, 228 all-purpose yards, 143 of which came on 6 kickoff returns. It's Cann and Yates in the I formation. And the give is to Jimmy Cann, and he's trying to stay on his feet up to around the 30-yard line. Eddie Duran in there again, along with Matt Kelly.
Kelly made the play because he was being blocked, and he got Cann around the shoes, around his ankles to at least force him to go down there, and other people came up and supported it. That was a big play by the defense. Cann had a hole. Cann is also a very good receiver coming out of the backfield. They like him in that position too. But they're substituting freely today the tailbacks, and it's Cann and Henderson. And right now, actually, they've got the tailback out, and they've got an extra receiver.
They got in there. Randy Jackson, the intended receiver, and big pressure at the right time for BC.
That sure was. They came with a blitz. They gambled. They brought the linebackers, and the pressure paid off. He didn't have enough time to hit his wide receiver, and they're going to force him now to try and get 3.
All right. Sclafani, who has missed only once inside the 50 this year. This will be a 42-yard attempt.
Blocked.
And it is blocked at the line. A 47-yard attempt. My mistake. It is blocked at the line. Couldn't tell who got the hand up. But Sclafani's attempt not going to go. So Rutgers, offensive momentum stymied here by BC. The crowd in the game. Perhaps that momentum will carry over to action on the field. Back after this from your local stations.
This company is sending its employees on a business trip to Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya. They're also sending delicate equipment that's essential for their presentation. So they needed an airline with a unique knowledge of the Pacific. One that delivers superior service in the air and on the ground. Which airline did the Metropolitan Opera Company choose for its 1988 tour? Japan Airlines. Comfortably ahead worldwide.
No matter where you drive, all the tire between you and the road is this, about the width of your finger. Here's where you need exclusive Bridgestone technology. Every Bridgestone tire is performance engineered from the ground up, which means Bridgestone builds more than tires that perform. Bridgestone builds confidence. So at 65 miles an hour, remember this and remember Bridgestone.
Big play by BC here as Sclafani, who hit a 51-yarder against Syracuse last week. Blocked there. Is that June Anderson, right?
June Anderson coming in, the junior from Springfield, Mass. And he's a very active linebacker. He came in over the left guard, Erta, and got a hand on that. It's a big play because emotionally, BC's looking for something. Now they got the football back. They held them from scoring. They trailed by only one. They got the ball back in their own territory about the 29-yard line.
And for the first time, you can see the crowd kind of getting into the game here. Got something to cheer about, and the sunshine is shining brightly here now. Power to Cherry. Nice throw up to the 43-yard line.
First down situation. BC loves to come with the pass. This time they go to Marcus Cherry, and Darren Sellers, the cornerback, number 37, is really playing off, giving him plenty of room. Power reads it, gets the ball up to him. First down.
Cherry having a fine year. 4 touchdowns, a 20-yard average per catch coming in, which is an outstanding total. Got him again this time. Near side, Cherry. 2 consecutive grabs. Now they're across into Rutgers territory at about the 40-yard line. Marcus Cherry out of Washington, D.C.
The ability to put Waddle and Cherry to the same side, the threat of that creates problems for a defense. This time Cherry coming out of the slot, gets into the flat, away from the strong safety Newman, forcing the cornerback Blanton to make the hit. But the combination of those 2 receivers almost forces you to stay back and lay off, and then in doing so, they pick you apart, and Power delivered the ball.
First down again for BC. This time the handoff. Duke St. Pierre not going too far. And again, we see the difference in the passing philosophy here from BC to Rutgers. BC going for the longer ball, whereas Rutgers is more controlled.
But what happens when BC is sort of looking for some lift? What do? They put the ball up. That's Jack Bignell. They like to throw the ball. They're trailing by 1 touchdown, but they said, hey, we got to get things going. Let's start throwing it. And that's what they're doing. And Mike Power has the experience, and he loves this opportunity.
Frazier and Duke St. Pierre, the give to Frazier. Look at him moving. He is really spun around out there. Jeff Newman hits him, and Frazier just flies forward, trying to get that first down yardage. He's short by a couple of yards. And you talk about the great receivers. You got Cherry and Waddle, who are carrying on the tremendous tradition here at BC. You look back the past few years, we talked about Brian Brennan before, of course, stars for the Browns, and guys like Darren Flutie, Kelvin Martin. It's a tradition here. Great receivers, and certainly we've got 2 of them out there today, right now. Frazier, he's got the first down for Boston College.
They're picked up. The momentum is there. The offense, which was very lackluster for a good part of the first period, coming at you. But Frazier's this kind of a back. He's quick. And the left side of the line running over Joe Wolf, the All-America candidate. Good block by the fullback St. Pierre, and just enough to get the first down. And BC has got great penetration here inside the 30-yard line.
They really do. Mike Sanders now in the game. The single setback. Cherry split right. Waddle split left. Looking for Waddle, and does he make that grab? Another terrific grab by Waddle, a short pass. Darren Sellers right there.
What he does is he comes down and sort of protects himself. And watch this split screen as you watch Power on the right and watch Waddle come down. Little fake to the outside in front of Sellers. Comes back, and look at how he just covers himself up, makes it impossible for the defender to get to the ball, and he comes up with that low catch. And Power puts the ball there deliberately.
He is something. Again, Sanders and Duke St. Pierre in the eye. That is Sanders. He's got some room. Nice cutback inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. And BC is fired up. 14-yard gain.
Derek Baker, the free safety, had to come up and make the hit. But the BC line, the difference, opening up the run, the right side of the line. Look at the block here by number 66, Ankin, on the linebacker, Yudovich, and he gives this kid a chance. Number 34, Mike Sanders. He's only a junior out of King, North Carolina, but he's got excellent quickness, and he showed it there.
And with the loss of Bell earlier with the knee problem, we're seeing the depth of BC's running backs here, and they're playing a big role here as Sanders gets it again down to the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 5. Clock ticking down. 3:05 to go again. Scarlet Knights have a 7-0 lead here over the Eagles.
And it all started when Rutgers, driving the football, leading 7-0, goes for a field goal, has it tipped. The emotion came just the other way, and BC came alive, and they got the football on the 5-yard line.
And Powers hit his last 4 tosses. 2nd and goal. Looking around. Sanders, not this time.
That time they did a lot of shifting. They shifted the tight end, put people in motion, but they ended up, they wanted to run that football inside over their right guard and right tackle, Wydell and Ankin. Good job on the left side by the Rutgers defense. They threw him back actually for a loss. Now in this situation, you got to think it's going to get up, and you got to look for Mike Power, either his wide receiver Waddle or his tight end, who's been very silent thus far, Chimura.
Tracy Giles now in the game. And Power fires, incomplete. That ball deflected, I believe, intended either for the tight end Chimura or for Cherry. The wide receiver both crossed over one another. Not sure who that ball was intended for, but it was deflected. Incomplete pass.
Good job in the secondary. Ran out of territory. He brought his tight end in motion and then tried to curl him back. Good coverage by the Rutgers secondary, and now they've forced BC to go for 3.
So Brian Lowe will come on. This will be a 22-yard field goal attempt. Barefooted kicker. 7-10 so far this year. This one is up. Looks good from here, and it is. 22-yard field goal for Lowe. So BC, they'd love to have had 6, but they are on the board here with 1:56 to go. It's 7-3. Rutgers leads. Back on this beautiful day at Chestnut Hill, Mass. in a minute.
Okay, let's get moving. First, we'll need work from every department. Who's set up for that?
Our computers are tied in.
Mike, how long for graphics?
2-3 days max. Our computer can do it in a day.
It's yours. Joni, typesetting and printing?
About a week on overtime.
Now, hold on now. Who published this?
We did, on the computer.
Well, do it again. Last, we need presentation overheads. Any ideas?
Boston College, a vibrant contemporary university dedicated to academic excellence in teaching and learning, through the exchange of ideas and philosophies, through scholarly research, exploration, and understanding, in science and technology, the professions, the arts and humanities, where knowledge is used to make a difference in the world. Boston College, a 125-year commitment to excellence in the timeless Jesuit tradition.
Back at Alumni Stadium, Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Homecoming for BC. 32,000 plus in attendance. Beautiful sunny day here right now. The BC fans jacked up a little after that field goal from Lowe, so it's now a 7-3 ball game. Rutgers in front, 1 minute and 56 seconds to go.
Rutgers really has had a very good first half. They've controlled the ball on the ground. They've thrown that controlled passing game, but they've only got 7 points. And that's exactly what Jack Bicknell's going to say at halftime. Look, they had most of the play in the first half. They're only up by 4. We got a shot to get back in here, and we're very much in this ball game, and they know it. So Rutgers has played well. They just haven't gotten many points from their effort thus far.
Lowe kicking off, and he clobbers it at about the 2-yard line. That's Vince Hall. And Vince Hall gets up to about the 20-yard line, tries to fight for more. So again, Scott Erney and company will come aboard here offensively. 21-yard return for Hall.
With 1:48 remaining in the second quarter, the ball's sitting on about their 21-yard line. It'll be interesting to see whether they'll put it up right away. They're deep in their territory. They sure wouldn't want to give it back to BC and give them a chance to get more points before this half. They may very well just kill that clock, go in at halftime and say, hey, we've had a good first half. Let's get to work.
Minute and 48 to go from the 21. Mike Botti on the draw play. Boy, he sees the hole and he takes off across the 40-45, across midfield, down to the 45 of Boston College. And Mike Botti saw the opening, was able to stay on his feet, showed tremendous agility, and made that into a 33-yard pickup. And Rutgers would like to score again here in the second quarter.
It's a counter play. Great blocking downfield on the left side by Hyros and DeBeal. And this is exactly the play that Botti broke against Penn State for a touchdown. He runs this thing, and all of a sudden Rutgers is saying, hey, we got field position. Maybe we get some points here before the half.
And they give it right back to him. This time Botti with not so much room, and he slithers out for a gain of 2 on the far side, but it stops the clock. Jeff Baker forces him out. 1:24 to go. So Botti over 90 yards today, averaging something like 6.2 exactly, as a matter of fact, for the day. 15 carries, 92 yards. Great day for Botti. 2nd and 8. McQueen and Young, receivers to the near side. Jackson split left. Erney, half roll, good pressure, puts it out. McQueen makes a nice running catch to the near side, grabs it and steps out of bounds. Tyrone McQueen, the senior out of Rahway, New Jersey. And again, Bob, tremendous pressure from BC that time.
They gambled again. They brought the strong safety, 44, David Johnson, up on the corner. Watch him come in, and he's right up in his face. He did well to get that ball off. BC was in zone coverage, which permitted McQueen to wait on the football. That's a dangerous pass if they were a little tighter. But he got the pass completed. Didn't get the first down. The ball's sitting outside the 35-yard line. Here we go.
So 3rd and 2, 1:19 to go, as Erney once again shows terrific poise. Over the middle, he's got Jenkins, who is thrown down at about the 27-yard line by Johnson.
Jenkins caught the ball coming across the middle in front of the linebackers. The 3rd time they've hit that pass. Twice to Jenkins, once to Scott Blanche. You're watching Jenkins as he got hit out of bounds, but he got out of bounds and stopped. Excuse me. He did not get out of bounds. Rutgers is taking a timeout. As we look at Jack Bicknell, and he's trying to say, hey, we get back in the ballgame with a field goal, and all of a sudden these guys are threatening.
That's right. Bicknell, who says about the Eagles, I don't say we're great, but we're not bad. Not sure what that means. It's 7-3 Rutgers. 1:12 to go here in the first half.
Blue. Labatt's blue.
Evening is nice.
Blue heaven.
I hurry to mine.
Smooth.
Clean. Crisp.
Labatt's blue.
Turn to the right.
Imported beer from Canada.
We'll lead you to mine.
Labatt's blue. Yeah.
What do you think of the Ford Festiva?
It's big.
It's small. Sort of a big smallness.
Cutest little thing.
Festiva gives you features like a roomy interior, 660 powertrain warranty, sometimes even your own parking space. So it's big and small.
How about Festiva's price?
It's small.
Small.
It's nothing.
Ford Festiva. Call it big, call it small. Call it yours for only $56.99.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
And with that last pass completion to Jenkins, Erney has set the Rutgers school record for career passing yardage, 3,832 yards. Old record was set by Eric Hochberg, 82-85. So Erney has set a career record here. Mike Botti in the backfield. 1:12 to go. 1st and 10 Rutgers. Botti gets it on the draw, and he is hit in the backfield. Peter Gray gets him from behind.
Big play by Peter Gray. They're trying to run that same counter play that he broke for 33 yards just a bit earlier. They tried to run it to the right side, but Gray, the senior out of Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, really made a great play coming down the line of scrimmage. holding him to he actually took him down for a 2-yard loss.
All right, second, and they're calling it 11 now. Again, the clock ticking down, 43 seconds, 42 seconds. This is Jenkins, and he, if not for Duran there to trip him up, could have got another 10 or 12 yards there, I'm sure, but he's out of bounds at about the 22-yard line.
We talked about BC loving to play back in the zone, playing their zone coverages, laying off the football. So Rutgers, knowing that, is coming to the underneath receiver, the tight end. You mentioned earlier, the tight ends coming in this ball game had 9 receptions. They've already caught at least 4 or 5 passes, and they've been effective in the second and third and long, looking to get that first down.
And if you're thinking field goal, what can Rutgers do here? Sclafani, as we mentioned earlier, hit the 51-yarder against Syracuse to tie the Rutgers record that last week. He, of course, missed the 47-yard field goal attempt earlier, which was blocked by June Anderson. So you would think they'll be at least in position here. They'll go for it at least if they can one more time here, and then if they don't get the first down, we'll see Sclafani come on and attempt the field goal.
Exactly. They've got enough time to put the ball in the end zone a couple of times to try and get a score here. They've got one more timeout remaining, so they've got plenty of things to play with to get a chance to either get a touchdown or to call on Sclafani again to get 3.
We'd look for some kind of a pattern again, a short underneath stuff towards the sidelines to try to pick up the 4 yards they need for the first down and get out of bounds.
What Scott Erney doesn't want to do, and what an experienced quarterback doesn't do, but he did it last week against Syracuse, and it hurt him, is to throw the interception. Don't give up a chance to get some points here.
87 yards on the day for Erney. That's Botti in the backfield.
Pressure.
Look out. Lindstrom comes in. Ball is loose. Incomplete pass. That is Ivan Caesar, number 88, who came rushing in with nobody there to take him on.
BC doesn't do this very often, but they gambled, and Ivan Caesar, 88, from the top of the screen here, far side, comes in on the backside and gets to him just as he's about to unload the ball. They're fortunate somebody didn't pick it off for an interception. Big play by Ivan Caesar in the BC defense.
So Sclafani comes on now as Rutgers is stopped there from the 3rd down and 4. It's 4th and 4. 39-yard attempt for Sclafani with 30 seconds to go. The boot is up and good. Good. Sclafani, the 39-yard field goal as Rutgers gets on the board. Sclafani, the senior out of Toms River, New Jersey, former walk-on, earned his scholarship after leading the team in scoring last season. Outstanding kicker. So that makes the score 10-3 as Rutgers gets on the board again here in the second quarter. It's funny, as we started out this last drive, we said, gee, will they go for anything here or just kind of keep it on the ground? Of course, what the difference was Botti's big run.
Exactly. They were going to kill this clock. They ran a little counter play, and Botti turned it into a 33-yard gain, and right away their thinking changed, and Dick Anderson's got to feel very comfortable about getting back those 3 points that BC put on the board just before he got possession.
So it was an 8-play drive, 56 yards, took up a minute 31 off the clock, 39-yard field goal by Sclafani. Does it, and again, the big play by Mike Botti, who's having an outstanding day. 33-yard pickup. So with 25 seconds to go, Rutgers will kick it off here to BC.
Interesting to see how they came into this game and their philosophy offensively thus far. They've really featured, as you noted, Mike Botti, and Botti's been the single back. Up until this point, the last couple of weeks, it's been the tailback, Jimmy Can and Henderson coming back. But now it's Botti. We haven't really seen much of either Henderson or Jimmy Can.
Doug Geisler kicking it off here in his squibbit, bouncing around at about the 20-yard line, and that is number 35 for BC, Ed Toner. Makes it out of bounds at about the, let's see, the 41-yard line. So they've got pretty good field position with 20 seconds to go. What do you think, Bob? Will they try to put it up here and get themselves back in field goal range, or will they take the chance?
I don't think there's any question with a Jack Bicknell team that he's going to try and get something here, and he's going to put the ball up, or he's going to try and get upfield and get position to get at least 3 points out of this thing. He's got 20 seconds on the clock, and he's got his best receivers in the ball game, Waddle and Cherry.
What about the wisdom of a squib kick like that instead of just booming it for the end zone?
Well, the idea of a squib kick is you're not going to get much return yardage, and hopefully the wrong guy is going to pick it up and run with it. At that point, they got the ball back for 20 yards.
Power all kinds of time. He's pointing, he's looking, but he's hit, and the ball loose. Anybody's ball, but BC recovers. That's Ankin, number 66.
They're doing a great job on Waddle on that play. He was looking for him all the way, and he waited a little bit too long. They gave him great protection up to that point. But
George Banko's the man to hit him.
Excuse me, as he looks for Waddle, there's plenty of time here. There's only a 3-man rush by Rutgers. That's the reason. He looks for Waddle. He looks for him, but as you look at number 16 Waddle in the middle, he's got 44 for Rutgers. 44 for Rutgers, who is Perglozzi, one of the linebackers, in his face. So he didn't give up the ball. He didn't throw it until he came open. By that time, the rush got to him. So with 3 seconds left, the brains on the sideline, the offensive strategy is being applied for Mike Power.
Almost like a touch football game in the backyard. Go long, we'll find you, get loose, but...
That's right, and in doubt, I'll throw it low and you catch it, Tom.
Exactly. This Power ran out of time, that particular instance. Again, 2 seconds left on the clock. Rutgers a 10-3 lead. 2nd and 17. Ball on the BC 44-yard line. Waddle, Cherry, and Ray Hilvert, 3 receivers. Top of your screen. Again, you can see the clock. 2 seconds to go. This will be it. Power. Going to do the old Hail Mary. Fires it up. Nice looking ball up in the air, and it is picked off. I believe.
It is. You're right. You
Rutgers grabbed it, and that is number 37, Darren Sellers, who grabs it as time expires here at Boston College. So Power tries to fire it up, looking for some magic to happen. Doesn't work, and that'll end the first half here at Chestnut Hill, Mass. It's 10-3. Rutgers is in the lead, and right now let's go down to the sidelines. Dick Anderson along with Steve Martin. Steve?
Well, Corey, Coach Dick Anderson is along with us, and Coach, you made your living pretty much passing the ball with Scott Erney coming up into this ball game. You've run the ball an awful lot in the first half. Was that part of the design, or what Boston College gave you defensively?
No, it's an attempt for us to, again, reach a balanced situation, and we try to do that. In the second half, it may change a little bit depending upon score and situation.
What about Eric Young? And is his shoulder good enough to throw to him an awful lot? You've used him pretty much as a decoy in the first half.
Yeah, Eric Young is fine, and he'll get the ball more in the second half.
And what about your defense? You played very strong, had a big stand on 4th and 1.
I think they did a great job on defense, and hopefully we're going to keep it going that second half. It's going to be anybody's football game.
Finally, what changes will you make at halftime, if any?
Well, I don't think we're going to make any changes. We just got to shore it up and make sure that we're playing tough.
All right, Coach Dick Anderson of Rutgers along with us. He likes what his team has done, especially defensively so far in this ball game. Offensively, he's got to like what he sees on the scoreboard with Rutgers leading Boston College by a score of 10-3. BC and Rutgers have had at it for 9 times. This is their 10th meeting, and Rutgers has won the last 2. Coming up at halftime, lots of things for you. We're going to get to know a little bit more about Eric Young, a very versatile athlete for Rutgers University. He'll be the focus of our Genesee Cream Ale Great American Champions feature. We'll take a look at the week in review as far as Great American Independent Football is concerned, and lots more. So stay with us. It's Rutgers right now leading over Boston College. We're at intermission at Chestnut Hill Alumni Stadium, so stay with us.
This should give you some idea of the difference between beer and Genesee Cream.
Over Temple, Pittsburgh trying to get back after 3 straight losses, leading in the first quarter.
Ohio State.
Out of the Big Ten, Ohio State shutting out Purdue, and Ohio State trying to get back on the winning ways also.
They've had their problems. Bama leading Tennessee. When will Tennessee win, Bob?
That's a big question. Question for a lot of people, including Jimmy Rayburn.
One of the big UT fans of all time. All right, 10-3. Rutgers in front, and Boston College will kick it off to Rutgers as we begin the second half here. What's turned out to be a beautiful day. Homecoming here for the Eagles.
Jack McNell said something interesting. He said we expected them to run the football. Well, he's right. They expected them to have a ball control offense with the running and passing game. We talked about it earlier. That's what Rutgers has done so far. They're going to have to duplicate their effort right to the point this second half in order to keep BC away from the end zone.
Jimmy Cann and Vince Hall back to receive. And that's Hall at the 15. And he is hit hard at the 22. Jude Anderson, the man to clobber him there. So Rutgers will take over again. 1st and 10 on the 27-yard line. We'll see what kind of An effort Mike Botti will make here in the second half. 91 yards on 16 carries in the first half, a 5.7-yard average. Terrific opportunity today to show his stuff. You see the quarterback comparison.
No question that Scott Erney has had the play. 10 out of 18, 87 yards. He's kept the ball, but the running game has helped those percentages because they've moved the ball so effectively on the ground.
Botti and Henderson split backfield. The fake to Botti, the toss to Brett Mersola up to the 35-yard line. So good play action there. Steve Williams comes over to push him out.
Showed a formation that usually is a passing formation. Two split backs. Ran a little bootleg action off it and isolated Mersola against Steve Williams, who was in zone coverage. Nice call. Good yardage. Well ahead of schedule.
8-yard pickup. 2nd and 2 as we begin. 2nd and 2 rather as we begin the third quarter. McQueen split right. Henderson in the slot. The give to Botti. He pounds ahead. Good for a yard. Saylor comes up to make the hit.
Good hit by Saylor, keeping it to a short gain. He did not get the first down.
Sets up a 3rd and 2.
Key to this half will be a couple of things for BC. One, on defense, will they play with more emotion and make some big plays? They've got to do that. Jack Bicknell alluded to it by saying, hey, they've got to come up with something. They've got to make something happen for us, get us in field position.
So far today, Rutgers on 9 third down situations has come through 3 times. Again, 3rd and 2, that's Botti. He gets the ball. He's through and then tackled by Kelly. It'll be close. I believe he's got it. Yes, first down, Rutgers.
On the other side for Rutgers to get the football on the kickoff, leading 10-3, and to have some kind of a drive and to prove that the first half wasn't a fluke is very important here. If they come up with points off of it, it's going to be tough for them in the second half. It's going to be tough for BC because they're going to be charged.
13:50 to go here in the third quarter. Botti and Henderson. This is Henderson trying to scoot. Gets up to the line of scrimmage, if that. Although I should say, Bob, the BC really showed they could move the ball there on that drive late in the second quarter that resulted in the field goal that made the score at that time 7-3. Moved the ball well. They were stopped when they got inside the 10, but I think that should give the offense at least confidence that they can move the ball if they play well.
Exactly. We see Henderson coming off the field limping a little bit. He's replaced by James Cann, who we haven't seen much of so far in this ball game.
Erney lofts one up. Incomplete, intended for Tyrone McQueen. Is threw it by him.
Again, they're going to work on the corner as we look at Mark Camphouse, the quarterback who broke his jaw in the TCU game. That time they were trying to go one-on-one against Brian Williams, the cornerback, with Tyrone McQueen. Good coverage by Brian Williams. And again, Rutgers is forced into a 3rd down, and it's 3rd and long.
3rd and long. Camphouse, by the way, told me he lost 10 pounds right away. He can't eat anything solid, of course. That jaw wired shut. Botti and Cann split backfield. Again, 3rd and 9. Erney to Botti, and Botti gets a couple up to about the 42-yard line where Matt Kelly meets him. So the Scarlet Knights will have to punt it away.
Actually, they ran a little draw play that time off of 3rd and long, figuring that BC was going to be either putting pressure on them or playing good tight coverage. It didn't work. The BC defense did their job, and they're going to get the ball back to their offense in good field position with plenty of time left on this clock in the 3rd period.
So Matt O'Connell is on again. Marcus Cherry back to field the punt for BC.
Oh,
pretty looking kick. Backs Cherry up to the 15. He's got some room. Nice block, and look at him go. I see a flag thrown. Maneuvers his way up past the 40-yard line. But there are flags. We will see. Cherry, boy, you can just see the kind of explosiveness Cherry has on a punt return like that, a 42-yard punt.
That's exactly right. It looks like there's going to be a clip here again.
Exactly.
BC.
Against BC, and I think we'll see it again.
This is a high kick. It's a beautiful kick, and Cherry really shows his athletic ability by avoiding right there. To the left of the screen was the front man in the coverage for Rutgers. Gets that ball back in great field position, but unfortunately, it's going to work against him.
It's all for naught. So BC, instead of having the ball at about the 41-yard line, their own 41-yard line, they've got to take it back to about the 15 or the 14-yard line. Well, they'll take over on offense when we come back. Scarlet Knights up 10-3 at BC.
You're invited today to a colorful show of smoothness, of value, of style. The Great American Road Show by Buick. Yeah, it's a powerful cast with exciting new stars. Cars that were born to perform. Yeah, the Great American Road Show by Buick.
Oktoberfest can be very boring, you know. Pa. Now, it's Coors Light Rocktoberfest! 31 days of rock and roll, parties, and Coors Light, the silver bullet, the beer that won't slow you down. Plus, there's posters of me and the guys at your store. October will never be boring again. Pa.
Corey McFerrin, Bob Cassiola, and Steve Martin back with you at BC. And there you see a big story really in this game, Bob, the penalties.
Key penalties in crucial situations. They only have 4, but they've affected first down situations, and here, a very good punt return.
Power to throw, first down, gets it up, and it is caught by Cherry. Tries to get back to the field, brought down at about the 29-yard line. So Power and Cherry connect again.
This is just a sideline, a deep sideline cut. He's got plenty of time. First down. Cherry comes down, works to the right side. In there, working against them, is Ron Bug, who's a young defensive back in for Celez, who got hurt on that punt return. And Cherry worked his magic and got a first down.
Again, you saw his terrific athletic ability. Stopped himself from going out of bounds, came back, spun around. 4 catches, 65 yards for Cherry. This is Frazier trying to go wide left. And he's caught maybe behind the line of scrimmage. No gain at all.
Big play by Pat Udovich, the linebacker who came from the far side to make the play. We got another flag on this play. It's going to be interesting. And again, a penalty, a crucial penalty, clipping going against BC. This is a little counter play. They want to get Frazier on the corner. He's got enough speed to delay and come back against the grain. But that time, Udovich made a great play from the linebacker position, and BC clipped. Jack Bicknell is frustrated. He knows that.
Cannot be happy about that. Bicknell's led BC to bowl appearances for the last 6 years. You can see the penalty.
Well, when you look at this new facility here, and you look at the hockey and basketball arena, the new stands, the dressing quarters, it all came from the fact that BC finally got into the bowl games and brought home.
That's
brought
right.
home the money.
All started back in '82 with that Tangerine Bowl bid, first in like 40 years. And who's that kid, that Flutie kid? He had something to do with it, I think.
Number 22.
That's right. First and 25 now. Frazier trying to maneuver his way up towards the 20, gets to the 18. Darren Sellers there to bring him down.
Thus far, the Rutgers defense has done the job. They've been very good against the run, particularly. And when they've thrown the football, they've covered Tom Waddle and Cherry, keeping him from the home run. Working deep in their territory. There's a lot of pressure on Mike Power now. He's looking at a 2nd and 20, excuse me.
2nd 21, right?
2nd and 21, and this is a tough situation to be in. The defense really dictates right here.
Power. A lot of time, moving, pressure, fires. Waddle grabs it at about the 27-yard line. Another one of Waddle's patented grabs near the ground, huh?
Unbelievable how he keeps that football from hitting the ground, goes down and scoops it up time and time again. Power has plenty of time here because there's only a 3-man rush. Good coverage in the secondary. Waddle comes in the middle. He sees he's not going to get open. Now he works his way back, and Power, when in trouble, who's he looking for?
You got it. I think Power is wearing out George Bankos back there, number 71. He was running all over the place trying to bring Power down. 3rd and 12 now. Big play here. See if Power's in trouble. Gets away, still on his feet. Look at this. Nice block He's looking, pointing, and overthrows Waddle as Power did a great job of staying on his feet, looked for Waddle, and misconnected.
And throwback to the days of number 22, Doug Flutie here. As he is under pressure, they keep him in a pocket here. He tries to come up inside. He gets away from a tackle. Great effort by Mike Power, but when in trouble, who's he looking for? Again, Waddle, but so is the defense, and they're playing him pretty tough, and he's trying to tell Waddle to go deep. By the time he delivers the ball, although he's a miracle man, he couldn't pull that one off.
Interesting to see as the high snap is recovered very well and gotten off by Erney and bouncing around at about the 22-yard line. Well, Rutgers will get the ball back, and Power trying to redirect Waddle on that play to go down the sidelines, but they couldn't quite communicate. Again, Rutgers with the ball after that 50-yard punt. Back at BC after this word from your local stations. 10-3 Rutgers.
This young man is about to repair his own car. The problem? Clogged fuel injectors. As you watch, he's fixing it with mobile super unleaded gasoline. Its advanced detergent formula can unclog fuel injectors and keep your entire fuel intake system clean. Drive your engine clean with mobile super unleaded. High octane with a plus. Get a free Jets or Giants glass with every fill-up of 8 gallons or more of mobile super unleaded plus.
With just this much tire between you and the road, you need exclusive Bridgestone technology. Bridgestone builds more than tires that perform. Bridgestone builds confidence. So at 65 miles an hour, remember this and remember Bridgestone.
You dreamed, you struggled, you came together and were heard. But in the last presidential election, 8 million black Americans weren't heard from. Here, vote.
So far, Dick Anderson likes what he sees. His club with 9:53 to go in the third quarter continues to hold a 10-3 advantage. Jack Bicknell, on the other hand, says, come on, let's go. Let's get something rolling here, as BC has been stymied time and time again by Rutgers defense that's come up with the big plays.
Look at this. He's after the official. Something about a snap. That's what he wants to talk about. Picking up the ball on the snap. The injured player we've been waiting on is Mark Murphy, the senior defensive tackle, number 67, out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. They can ill afford to lose another defensive lineman. They've had their problems in the interior of the line all year, injury-wise.
Good to see him back up on his feet as he slowly makes his way to the sidelines. All right, 22-yard line for Rutgers.
Rutgers has not made many mistakes today. They haven't put the ball on the ground, not too many penalties. They can ill afford to do it here. They're deep in their territory. The key to their offense today has been making first downs. Possession.
And the one thing about Erney, he may not be that classic drop-back quarterback, but he's a smart kid, a thinking man's quarterback. That's Botti up to about the 25-yard line, and Erney uses his intelligence out there. As Dick Curl, the offensive coordinator, told me yesterday, he said, hey, this kid is a thinker. Likes to be able to read defenses, does it very well, can audible.
And he's a great competitor, too. He's a tough kid. He had a tough injury already. As we look at these numbers, there's the difference today. Mike Botti versus the entire Boston College rushing offense.
Botti over the 100-yard mark. He came in with 290 yards on the year. 2nd and 6. 3 receivers left side that time, but they're throwing back to the near side. Ball deflected and caught. Wow, by Jackson. All kinds of flags as there looked to be a hit after the ball was caught and the player dropped. So Erney there, wow, that was a wild play.
If this play goes, it's got to be a big break for Rutgers, because he threw the ball into a lot of traffic looking for Yates. The ball was deflected. Here's the call.
Face mask.
Wow.
It was very obvious. We saw 3 flags go up, so it must have been very obvious.
Okay, as we watch 33, Yates coming from the fullback position, trying to hook up in the middle, well covered in the middle by the linebackers, Kelly. And there's the deflection, and little Randy Jackson, the junior, comes up with the play. And now, on top of it, a face mask, and here another penalty against BC. And Rutgers goes from their own 20 to great field position in 2 plays.
Steve Williams, the senior out of Providence, the man to make that mistake, grab that face mask as he made the stop. And look at that penalty differential there. Continues to mount. Yates and Can is suddenly Rutgers with the ball at the 46-yard line. This is Jimmy Can. Trying to pound his way up and gets across the 40, about 3 yards short of first down yardage. 8-yard gain for Can.
Little counter play, big block on the left side by Erda and the center Erickson, and a trap by Tardy, the big tackle who we honored at halftime, came across and made the hit. And that's the kind of yardage Rutgers has been getting all day. A little counter play, first down. They pick up 8 yards. 8 yards.
So it's 2nd and 2. And Rutgers continues to get good yardage on the first down play, which of course is so important in moving that ball down the field. Split backfield. Yates. Good for a yard maybe. Kelly's up there, and or Mike Saylor actually.
Saylor came from the linebacker position, trying to run him across the formation on the corner, back into the sideline. But the BC defense has got to come up with a play here. They've got to stop the drive. They've got to get a turnover. They've got to make something happen. That's what Jack Bicknell is looking for. They haven't been able to do it this afternoon.
All right, 3rd and 1. Yates, the man in the backfield. The give is to Yates. Slips and falls, dropped by Williams. And it'll be close.
It's going to be very close. I'm surprised to see Yates in there in that situation instead of Mike Botti, because he doesn't have the speed to the outside that Botti has, and that's what BC forced him to do, to go on the corner. This is going to be close. I don't think he got it. It's going to be a big effort here by the BC defense. That ball looks short.
It does look a little bit short to me, too.
Which is going to force Dick Anderson to come up with another crucial call.
Well, so far he's made all the right moves, hasn't he?
He sure has.
All right, let's check it out. Nope. It's going to be short by at least a foot, maybe 2. So it sets up the 4th and 1.
Now he's got to make a decision. He can't be talked into anything by his coaches. He's got to make this decision on the sideline. He's got him right there. He's got Mike Botti standing right next to him. He's putting Can back in the ball game. It looks like he's going to go for it.
Of course, the players always want to go for it.
Oh, yeah.
So far today, Rutgers has been faced with a 4th down situation twice where Anderson has decided to go for it. They've been successful both times, and they're going to do it again.
Players always want to go for it, but they don't have to listen to the alumni.
That's right. That's right.
And the sports writers and everybody else.
So 4th and 1. Botti, Yates, and Can, the power eye. And the crowd is alive here at Alumni Stadium. They want the Eagles to come up big defensively, and who knows? They stack them up good. Botti, but again, all depends on where that ball is placed.
Well, the official from the side marked it, and it doesn't look too good.
So Dick Anderson chooses to go for it on 4th. 3rd time he's done that today. And he may be 2 out of 3. BC fans seem to think like they've done the job defensively, the Eagles, and we'll check it out again. It's very close.
If they did, this is what they were looking for, looking to make the big play, get the ball back in field position.
Right.
And if they've done it, it'll pay off right here. We'll see.
And perhaps spark the offense a little bit, too. Here we go.
He didn't get it.
Nope. Nope. Maybe 8 to 10 inches short. All right, the Eagles fired up here at Alumni Stadium. Jack Bicknell from last-second instructions to Mike Power.
Okay, that's what they needed. Here comes Mike Power back in the football game. They've got it sitting on their own 38-yard line. Dick Anderson was not happy with the mark by the official. He went after him right on the sideline.
He sure did. He sure did. Not happy at all. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 1st and 10. Frazier. No, that's Sanders who sneaks through, kept on his feet, and gets up to the midfield stripe. So right away, Mike Sanders with a 13-yard gain as the offense tries to work on continuing that emotion off that defensive stand.
And we should mention the tailbacks are Fraser and Sanders because Jim Bell, is the outstanding senior co-captain on the offense, went down on the first offensive play with a knee injury.
Sanders, incidentally, 4 carries for 30 yards today. Pitch back to Sanders. He had a lot of running room there, and he is hit by Derek Baker. Gets up to about the 43-yard line. The 43-yard line.
Well, the BC offense is well rested, so they've got a lot of juice in there, and they're blocking on the left side and getting the ball deep to their tailback. And it's Sanders this time, the junior out of King, North Carolina. Came into this game with only 8 rushes for 40 yards, a 5.0 average, but he's getting a chance to play today because of the injury to Jim Bell.
Handoff, Sanders, huge opening, right side again. That is Baker that trips him up close to the 35-yard line. So, BC on the ground, very effective here.
Great block on the linebacker. They put Kokoski, who's made a lot of tackles today, right on the ground, number 79, and the hole opens up, and Sanders is off to big yardage.
So, a first down, BC. 5:55 to go here in the third. A 10-3 Rutgers lead. Again, it's Sanders trying to follow his blockers on the right side. Gets stacked up, however. Carter Giles, first man to greet him. And Mike Power, who said after the big win over Pitt, he said, hey, this is the way it's supposed to be. What you dream about happening. I think he's excited to be out there. You know, it's a difficult thing when you compete like he did in the Southern Cal game and be pushed aside. Somebody else comes in, as Camp House did, to sit there and watch it all happen, to be booed like that. But then to come back and be successful, that has to be a tremendous, tremendous boost. 2nd and 8. Sanders again very smoothly gliding up to the 25-yard line. Darren Sellers.
Watch this hole on the right side. Watch the cutback action. He starts to his left. They block on the line of scrimmage. They block Giles, the nose guard. There's the cut. He runs through the tackle of Giles, and Sellers has to come up from the cornerback position. But the offensive line of BC is starting to get into the Rutgers down linemen, giving their backs a chance to break the line of scrimmage.
Marcus Cherry near side. Waddle up top, but the gives to Ed Toner. Fullback. It's a couple. So Jack Bicknell sticking to the ground game for now.
He sure is, and nobody would ever believe it. He tried the pass earlier. They opened up the second quarter after trailing 7-0 by throwing the football more. But now he's got in position. A big 4th down play by the defense gets the ball back, and BC's on a roll. The best looking drive they've had today.
2nd and 7, and perhaps setting up the Rutgers defense for a trip to the air again. This time it is Sanders once again. Barrels through the right side. He's about 2 yards shy of the first down. He's brought down by number 79, Doug Kokoski, and I guess coming in we thought, Bob, it'd be all passing, or at least primarily, and it's been the running game that's surprise for both teams.
And right now the Rutgers defense, their tackles are being handled by Quitchoff and Wydell, the BC offensive tackles, and they're giving Sanders a chance as he comes up with the football to cut back inside or outside.
3rd and 1, that's Toner, and he just falls across. I think good enough for the first down yardage. The BC players seem to think they've got it. So the Eagles are driving, and yes, it is a first down. The big fullback just kind of jumped across, fell across. So the ball now at the 14-yard line, just inside the 14-yard line, and Jack Bicknell knows very well.
And think of what Dick Anderson has going through his mind on that 4th down try when he came up short. Would have maintained possession, good field position. Now he's staring at the fact that BC is threatening to score.
Handoff Sanders. This time Rutgers is ready. That's Carter Giles who hits him quickly.
Carter Giles, Steve Tompkins, the defensive left tackle, who's a transfer from Rice, came in here a year ago out of Bayonne, New Jersey, made a big hit. Right here is where BC has not been effective today. They've gotten in close a couple of times, and only once did they come away with points, and they had to settle for a field goal.
Sanders, the 5'11", 200-pound junior from King, North Carolina, who'd only rushed for 40 yards on the year. 10 carries for 64 so far. He's made a big difference. 2nd and 8. Rutgers scurrying around on defense.
There's a penalty going to go against BC. It's got to be movement of some sort. They shifted their tight end,
That's right,
Chamora, from the left to the right. Let's see what happens.
And again, Boston College, all these penalties, and Jack Bignell kind of shaking his head over there on the sidelines.
Can't be happy about that. Forces him back, 2nd and long now. Look him to put it up. This drive has really gotten them downfield based on the run. Featuring their tailback in this case, it's been Mike Sanders. Sanders is out of the, excuse me, he is back into the football game at tailback. They're going with Sanders and Toner.
Boy, what a time for a penalty. 2nd and 13. From now, the 18-yard line. And once again, Sanders gets the call. Tries to slither his way across. The ball is loose, say the Rutgers players, but no. The official says he was down before the ball popped loose.
Salez in there from the cornerback position, flying to the football to make the hit. Got to be careful. Got to be wary of the fact that they'll come with play action here. 3rd down, the ball sitting on the 13-yard line. 3rd down and 10. You got to believe it's going to be a pass. In this situation, who does he look for?
He's got Waddle to the near side. Cherry and Hilvert up top. That's Chamora, the tight end who is in motion. Power, tossing, end zone, almost caught by Marcus Cherry, but good defense out there from Vaughn McCoy.
Vaughn McCoy comes in. He's the nickel back, the 5th back, and he really helps out here. This is a great pattern by Marcus Cherry. As you look up at the top of your screen, he breaks it for the corner of the end zone, and watch number 12, McCoy, right in position to get a hand on it. Had to do that. Good try. And again, the Rutgers defense stiffens and forcing BC to try and get 3.
And even with McCoy all over it, Cherry just about was able to bring that thing in. Brian Lowe then will come on. 1 for 1 today in the field goal department, trying to go 2 for 2, and he is. 30-yard field goal for Lowe. So it's a 10-6 ball game now with 1:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter as the Eagles are coming to life here at BC.
The challenger, Sugar Ray Leonard.
I'm like his worst nightmare. I keep coming back to win again and again.
The WBC champion, Canada's golden boy, Donnie Lalonde.
After this fight, he won't want to come back again.
The motivation, not 1, but 2 world championship belts in one night. November 7th, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Leonard versus Lalonde in a full tilt battle for all the gold. Brought to you by Coors Extra Gold Draft.
Great American Independent Football. Air Force versus Notre Dame. This week, Air Force brings its legendary wishbone attack to Notre Dame Stadium, guided by quarterback D. Dallas, leading rusher for the Falcons. But Notre Dame could have a more versatile weapon in Irish quarterback Tony Rice. It's an offensive contest as Air Force meets Notre Dame.
Back at Alumni Stadium, Boston College with the field goal. It's now a 10-6 game. And Bob, you get the feeling at any moment BC could explode, don't you?
Yeah, they're close. You figure the big play is going to come. They're tuned in for that. They've done it time and time again, but they just haven't come up with the big catch, with a big run, and it's been very frustrating. And Rutgers is clinging to a 10-6 lead.
Of course, you got to give the Scarlet Knights defense a little credit for that as well.
Yes, they've played well when they had to play well, particularly in the secondary. They've come up with a big play that last time in the secondary by the nickelback Vaughn McCoy to keep a touchdown and force BC to settle for 3.
So Brian Lowe will kick off here. 1:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. Jimmy Cann and Vince Hall back to receive, and here's the kick. Jimmy Cann at his 3. Got a good wedge in front of him. Across the 30, still on his feet. 35, 37-yard line. So a good return for Cann.
Jimmy
35 yards.
Had a great day last week against Syracuse returning kickoffs, and he just finds the seam and knows how to get extra yardage. He is very effective on punt.
Certainly
kickoff
he was
returns.
there. Right now, down to the sideline, Steve Martin. Steve?
Been trying to achieve this afternoon is get that ball to the running backs, but they've got some running backs that are nicked up. Mike Botti, who's back in there. It's a small lower left of his back was hurting earlier in the ball game, and Henry Henderson went off the field limping with a sore right ankle. Of course, BC's got their share of hurts with Bell out and Frazier limping with a left ankle bad.
All right, Steve. Henderson gets the call here, and maybe that's why Yates was in the ball game a few minutes ago, and you made the comment, why is he in here? Maybe because Botti was nicked up a little bit.
And isn't that incredible? They come into a crucial situation. They want the right guy in there, and he's injured. We didn't get that until now. It's good that Steve reported that to us. It's very unusual not to have the key guy, Botti or Can, in the ball game under those circumstances. But they're both in now. You've got Botti at fullback and Henderson back at the tailback spot.
A minute to go in the third quarter. Scarlet Knights on offense, and Erney, who's had lots of time all day long. That time, Kelly came up and just about picked off the pass intended for James Jenkins, and not a smart throw.
Not a smart throw. He put number 27 Henderson, the tailback, in the slot. He was looking for him to get deep against the linebacker. He was well covered, but he forced the football, came away lucky. But again, all of a sudden, Rutgers now is into 3rd and longs. They don't like that. Not with their ball control type offense.
Not at all. You can hear the rumblings here at Alumni Stadium. They got a full house here on homecoming. Under a minute to go in this third quarter.
Pressure.
The whole place is shaking. This time, Erney throws incomplete. A ball that Randy Jackson had in his hands, but dropped at about the 40-yard line.
Boy, did they have the right call. Jackson in the slot working against the cornerback, came back inside. He's wide open. You're going to see number 83 come into the picture. Lots of poise here. They put pressure on him. Jackson is open. It's a little high, but he should have handled that. If he had caught it, that would have been a big play for Rutgers.
That'd have been a 50-yard gainer. No question about it. So Rutgers fails to connect on what looked like a sure thing. 49 seconds to go. Marcus Cherry back to receive. Here's the punt. O'Connell, this kid is an excellent punter, isn't he? 23-yard line. Cherry trying to make something happen. Unable to gain more than a couple of yards. Thad Udovich is down there to make the stop. So Boston College will take over at about the 28-yard line with 38 seconds to go here in the third. We'll be back to Boston College after this word from your local stations.
This is Bill Butel from Eyewitness News. Connect me with the prosecutor's office, please.
Bill, the jury's coming in with the verdict.
Right, we're all set to go live. Let's get an interview with the defense attorney. I'll try and get in touch with the family. Beautiful. I wouldn't change a word.
So what do you think?
Let's go with it.
Bill, chicken salad or chicken salad?
Can I think it over?
Good choice.
Seriously, everybody did a terrific job on a tough story today.
So it's chicken salad all around.
Now let's talk about our follow-up.
What about the neighborhood?
Traveling can get out of hand if you're out of town on, say, Election Day or your wife's birthday. This is an absentee ballot. You get one from your local board of election. That way, if you're out of town, you won't lose your power to vote. Now, these are roses. You send them to your wife if you miss her birthday. That way, you won't lose your life.
Feel the power. Vote, America. America's future depends on America's voters.
Corey McFerrin, Bob Cacciola, and Steve Martin, Alumni Stadium. Boston College within 4 points of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They've got the football on their own 28-yard line with 38 seconds to go here in the third quarter. St. Pierre and Sanders in the backfield. That is Sanders. Boy, he can scoot.
He can scoot, he slides, he glides, and he's just a young back, but they like him a lot. They love his quickness, his ability to accelerate, and they've been bringing him along slowly. And with Jim Bell, of course, such an outstanding runner playing in front of him, and Mike and Tim Frazier, he hasn't had a chance to play, but today he's getting the opportunity because of injuries.
Marcus Cherry to the near side. Tommy Waddle up top, backs in the eye. Power. Fakes the handoff. Lots of time. Rifles it out. That time looking for his tight end, Chamora, but overthrows him, fails to connect.
Plenty of protection, plenty of time. He just took his time and waited for the big end. And Chimura is only a sophomore, but Bicknell loves this kid. 6'5", 220. He's got excellent potential. He waited for him to come open in the middle, just a little bit late.
Sets up a 3rd and 4. BC with an excellent drive last time around. 12-play, 49-yard drive resulted in that 30-yard field goal. Cherry in motion. Power. He's going to run. First down, BC. Heads up play, Bob.
Excellent, yes. A good job by the offensive line. They gave him plenty of time. Nobody's put pressure on him today of any consequence. And watch this as he waits. Good coverage, but watch the time here. The time he waits, he knows where the sticks are. He knows he's got to get 4 yards, and he tucks it in and gets the first down.
Big play by Power, who can scramble when he has to. That's the end of the 3rd quarter as BC starting to roll. It's 10-6 Rutgers.
Helen, I just looked at these numbers. Pretty grim.
Those are computer costs.
Didn't we pay for those systems last quarter?
We did, but those are training costs.
Well, let me get this straight. We're spending more on training than we did on the computers? Boston doesn't show these costs.
They use a different system.
So?
Apparently with their computers, the people can train themselves.
How will you live in the next century? Suddenly, life will be more comfortable, smoother, and quicker. Introducing the new 1989 Buick Century with premium features you expect from the best-selling Buick on the American road. All at a price that will let you enter the next century very comfortably.
The great American road belongs to Buick.
This game is being brought to you in part by Apple Computer, maker of Macintosh personal computers, giving you the power to be your best. At Alumni Stadium, Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, our score as we start into the 4th quarter, Rutgers 10 and Boston College 6. And now back to Bob Cacciola and Corey McFerrin.
All right, Steve, who would have guessed it? 15 minutes to go in the ball game, and the Eagles have yet to put a touchdown on the board. Sanders gets the call. He's across the 45-yard line.
Boy, he's running hard. He came in there. He got hit on the line of scrimmage, and he just kept his feet going and fell forward. You look up, and he picks up 5 yards.
The stats to this point look relatively even except for one major category, Bob, the penalty stat.
And they were crucial in the first half. And a couple of key penalties on kickoffs and passing situations for BC, but they're moving the football right now.
So far, both clubs far short of their average passing totals for the year, which for both clubs is right around 250 yards per game. Going long is Power for Cherry. Incomplete. Is there a flag? No. Derek Baker on the coverage, and you can hear the crowd. They want the flag on the interference. Jack Bicknell out about the 30-yard line. He says, wait a minute.
And he's upset. This is the back judge, Gene Sterator, who's making the call on this play. Watch Bicknell. Boy, he's furious. You knew they were going to come up and try to go deep, something they haven't really done today. And here we go. There's the strong fake to the tailback Sanders. There's 26. Cherry in the middle, being defended against by the free safety, Derek Baker. And there's the call. There was a bump, but in the eyes of the official, not interference. Big play, 3rd down.
You see Bicknell, he wants timeout, and he's going to get it. He wants to be able to air out his feelings at this point, too. At the same time, talk things over with his quarterback.
He was setting that up. He was looking for the TD. Very upset with the call. He didn't want to lose something here, so he called timeout. Let's gather our thoughts and get a first down as we're going to take another look at this pass. And there it is. There's the pass.
The bump.
And there's no question that 19, Baker, bumped him as the ball was coming in. It could have been easily called. The official didn't see it that way.
Almost looked like Baker was mad with himself because of the bump for a moment there, and of course the flag never came, which I'm sure he was quite relieved about. And Bicknell still giving his thoughts and his feelings about that play.
He's talking to another official, though, and Sterator, the back judge, comes over here and gets behind the defense, so he doesn't have to listen to him. So he's letting the side judge over there take the abuse.
He doesn't have to take the abuse if he doesn't want to. 3rd and 5 now. 14 minutes and 17 seconds to go for the ball game. Again, it's 10-6. Rutgers with a 4-point lead. Third and 5. Big play here, and look out. Power is brought down. Tries to flip the ball out. I can't believe he did that.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you know makes it difficult, and Power is hurt. He got hit right after the play. Power got hit late.
Rich Humphreys was the man to come all over him. Look at him hobbling there, that right ankle. And this could be a big problem for BC if he's hurt.
Absolutely. Here for the first time today is a big rush put on by the Rutgers defense. Number 96, Carter Giles, forced Power to try and scramble forward. They're going to down the ball there. It was a big play by the Rutgers defense. They're going to force BC to punt. BC in the crucials has not come up with the key first down.
Football's all about making the big plays, and it's something BC just has not been able to do today. Rooney is on to punt for BC. McCoy still in bounds, gets up to about the 30-yard line. He was out at the 26-yard line, apparently. Checking out Power on the sideline. We'll let you know what his condition is when we come back after this word from your local stations.
With just this much tire between you and the road, you need exclusive Bridgestone technology. Bridgestone builds more than tires that perform. Bridgestone builds confidence. So at 65 miles an hour, remember this and remember Bridgestone.
When friend fell, he called for help. Confusion came instead. At last, help came. Help knew what to do. In times of emergency, are you help? Learn Red Cross First Aid.
Hi, everybody. I'm Roz Abrams, inviting you to join me tonight at 7:30 for New York Views. This week, we are devoting our entire program to a look at the state of New York City public schools. We'll talk with Chancellor Richard Green as he begins his first full year as schools chancellor over the country's largest school system. We'll hear about the problems and what's being done about them, from the dramatically high dropout rate to teen pregnancies. And we'll meet the teachers responsible for educating the next generation of New Yorkers. That's tonight at 7:30 right here on Channel 7.
No matter how you drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded Detergent Gasoline. It can unclog fuel injectors and keep your entire fuel intake system clean. Drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded, high octane with a plus. Get a free Jets or Giants glass with every fill-up of 8 gallons or more of Mobile Super Unleaded Plus.
You see Mike Power taking a snap, trying to test out that left leg, and it appears to be the bottom portion of his left leg in the calf area that's hurting him, and he seems to be okay, trying to figure out just how painful it is, and they got Willie Hicks warming up just in case, the backup quarterback. Rutgers with the football on the 26-yard line. Erney rolling. Pressure. Throws incomplete, looking for Brett Mersola.
He had both McQueen and Mersola deep. Excellent coverage by Steve Williams, the cornerback, and Lobby, the strong safety. Good job, and they really cut away. Rutgers came out throwing the football. They like to sprint on the corner, as we mentioned earlier, with their quarterback, Scott Erney. Put pressure on the corner. He hasn't turned it into a run. As we look at Mike Power continuing to test that leg out, he looks fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be back. I can't see Jack going any other direction, even if he's hurting a little bit out there. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Rutgers with a 4-point lead. Mike Botti. Single back, fake the body, give the Jimmy Can left side up to about the 34-yard line. That's the first time we've seen that play. Mike Saylor over to make the stop.
Little reaction as we look at a summary of where we stand. Botti, of course, has been the story on the ground, 102 yards. No turnovers for Rutgers. That has been a key with one penalty, Scalfani. But when you look on the other side, plenty of penalties and lots of third down situations that weren't converted. We have another injury on the field. Rutgers player is down.
Can't quite make out who that is.
It may be the center. It may be, no, it isn't. Excuse me. It isn't Erickson.
Could be Nick Erda, the left guard.
Yeah.
I think maybe it is. But Rutgers has made the big plays when they've had to, come through. BC is not. They haven't made the mistakes as BC has. And that's been the difference so far.
In the second half, Rutgers has bogged down some. Their offense hasn't been as smooth and as fluid. You called it. It is Nick Erda, the left guard, coming out of the game. He looks fine. All right. Bill DeBeal goes in at the left guard position, the senior out of Somerville, New Jersey. But getting back, I think you've got to give credit in the second half. The BC defense has tightened up some. They've made good plays in the secondary as well as on the line of scrimmage. And Rutgers just sort of hanging in there on offense. Here's a crucial one for them right now.
It's still anybody's ball game, obviously, though. The 10-6 score. 3rd and 2. Mersola in motion. Toss. Can. Diving. And I think he's held up short by a yard. He is, as Boston College's defense, with Chris Gilday leading the way, make the big play.
Absolutely. Again, they went back into the sideline. They were very effective running back there in the first half. They haven't been able to do it in the second half. And the BC defense going to turn the ball back to their offense. And that's got to be an inspiration. That's what you need to win a football game. The defense has come alive in the second half.
So the defense has come up with some big plays here. Now, if the offense can do the same, then they'll have something. Matt O'Connell on again. A great day so far, as you can see. Nearly 45 yards per kick. Wow. He knows how to get the ball. Wow, that is a kick. Holy cow. Inside the 10. Cherry circles around to the 15 and thrown out of bounds. My word, what a kick. Lester, the man to take him out. Right now, let's go to Steve Martin. And Steve, what can you tell us about Mike Power?
Well, Corey, Mike went to the sideline on that sore ankle, and it appears to be the right ankle that he plants on. And the problem there is when he goes back and plants and gets set to fire, that was the problem. He went back to the sideline. Everybody watched as he tried it a few times, a few snaps from center. Jack McNeil looked at him and said, Mike, it's your decision. Mike Power says, I want to go back in. Offensive coordinator Barry Gallup said, let's just make sure.
Well, as you can see, he's there. By the way, that was a 50-yard punt with a 0 return a few moments ago. And Power brought down in the backfield. That's Joe Savoy along with Carter Giles.
That's the same play they ran the first down situation last time. They were looking on the sideline for Cherry. Rutgers played it tight on the corner with Blanton and their free safety Derek Baker. And the pressure is starting to get to Mike Power a little bit. And his receivers are being played a little tighter, which forces him now to think about going short, not always going deep.
2nd and 12. Not a great spot to start a drive. Shimura in motion. Rutgers defense adjusting. Fakes the handoff to Sanders. Going up top, looking for Cherry. Incomplete. Overthrows his man. Coverage from Derek Baker. Looked a lot like that same play a few moments ago when the controversial non-call occurred.
That's exactly what it was. You called it. And Baker that time, the senior from Jersey City. He's an experienced football player. As you watch number 19, and Cherry's going to try and beat him right up the middle. Watch Baker pick up on him and get a little help from the other side as the cornerback appears a little bit late. But Baker had him step for step. Good job by the defense.
And Power has now missed his last 5 throws. He's 9 for 21 on the day. 3rd and 12 for BC. Again, some pressure. Gets it off to his favorite guy. That's Waddle. But far, far short of first down yardage. He's caught at about the 17. Mike.
You'll see it. Mike Pergolosi came in. He's the extra linebacker they bring in on passing situation. A little more fluid out there to defend against the pass. He made the hit, kept the ball in front of him. BC has to punt. Rutgers has a chance to get field position for the first time in this off a punt in the second half.
They sure do. And Rooney is on again. Still plenty of time in this ball game. 10:48, but not a good punt from Rudy. Gets a bit of a bounce. Gets a nice bounce, in fact, luckily, because the punt itself was a weak one. So Rutgers looks like the ball spotted at about the 43-yard line. We've got 10 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Rutgers leads it 10-6.
Oktoberfest can be very boring, you know. Pa. Now, it's Coors Light, Oktoberfest. on days of rock and roll, parties and Coors Light, the silver bullets, the beer that won't slow you down. Plus, there's posters of me and the guys at your store. October will never be boring again. Papa.
You don't have to be an automotive expert to recognize a great ride. It's the result of a tuned suspension called Dynaride, only from Buick. Dynaride balances a comfortable ride with precise handling, smoothness with control. Good reasons why.
Back at Alumni Stadium, Boston College trailing Rutgers by 4 points. Check out some other scores. NC State over Carolina, big in the third quarter. Illinois, Wisconsin, an exciting game it looks like. 7-6 Illinois. Vandy with a lead over Florida. Could be a bit of an upset there. That's a halftime score. Look at this one. Georgia Tech all over South Carolina. That's a real stunner. 10:42 to go here. Maryland leads Wake Forest. Rutgers with the football. That's Jimmy Can. And Jimmy Can can't do much. Armour Lafayette, a couple of great American scores for you. That's all knotted up in the second quarter. And there's Pittsburgh, Bob, a 2-touchdown lead on Temple.
Got to get back into the winning ways, having lost 3 in a row. Okay, they tried a little draw play that time, giving the ball off to Jimmy Can, but the BC defense, which has been very effective in the second half, stopped them for no gain, and it's 2nd and 10, and Rutgers again a little bit behind schedule in their offense this second half. Really haven't come up with the big first down calls.
The fake pitch, Erney keeps and out of bounds at about the 48, 49-yard line. And that was a set play, it appeared. Lindstrom, the man to drive him out of bounds.
He hasn't done much of that. He's very effective at it. He can come on the corner and tuck it in. They've been giving him a chance to run. That time he decided to do it. He picked up 5 yards. 3rd down and 5.
3rd down and 5. By the way, the announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of Rutgers University and Boston College is prohibited. 3rd and 4. The stadium rocking. They want to see BC's defense come up big. Big pressure here. Caesar coming after him. Erney gets it off. Is it caught? Yes. It is caught at about the 43. Is that McQueen? Yeah, nice grab. First down to Rutgers. A big play from the offense.
And the only thing that made it go is the ability of Scott Erney to run. He got on the corner, and as he turned upfield, he saw McQueen on the sideline, delivered the ball. McQueen came back. Watch McQueen come back to the football, which gets him away from the defender, in this case Steve Williams, and that's what you have to do to make the catch. And those are the kind of plays you have to make to win football games. That's a key first down.
I think I'd run fast too if I had Caesar coming after me. That guy's a monster. First down, 9:30 to go. Big first down play. That's Mike Botti with the opening on the right side up to about the 32-yard line. Ed Duran stops him there.
Steve Tardy, John Kutz, the right guard and right tackle, opening this hole up for Botti, who's had an excellent day running the football. Watch to the left of the screen. There's the block by Kutz and Tardy. Give him a chance to break the line of scrimmage and force the safety, Ed Duran, to come up to make the hit.
9-yard pickup, 2nd and 1, 33-yard line of Boston College. Botti again. No place to go, but I think he's got the first down.
Right
enough.
Important here for Rutgers, if they can keep it on the ground and control with the short passing game to get a score, but eat some time off the clock, and it is doing that. We saw him in the first period take the ball up the field and take over 9 minutes off the clock. Right now, that's what they want to do. They don't want to give it back to BC unless they can get some points here.
8:43, 8:42 here. Again, as you say, Rutgers is trying to eat up that clock and drive it down here. Make things tough on Boston College's offense when they do get the ball back. 1st and 10. Botti is your back. The give, though, to Can. Little cross, and he moves and shakes and spins down to about the 24-yard line.
Nice call. Mix up the play. They've got a single back, Botti, at the tailback position. Everybody's keen on him. They dive Botti and bring Can across the formation, and the linebackers are out of position. There's a block on the linebacker by number 76. The left tackle, Bill Hyros, and again, a good first down call and good yardage for the Rutgers offense.
So Jimmy Can, the junior out of West Nyack, New York, showing why the Rutgers coaches have been so pleased with his performance so far this year. 2nd and 2 after the 8-yard gain. Here he is again, sprinting out the middle. Big hole. He almost breaks it down inside the 5 to the 4. Jimmy Can finally stopped by Brian Williams. Great run.
This is a great call. 2nd and short. They're all bunched in. Watch the blocking in the middle. They double team the nose man. They block down on the tackle, Gray, and there's Can. Look at the balance he has. That's what he did so effectively last week against Syracuse. By the way, his dad was an outstanding football player at Syracuse, and he was a highly recruited football player, as you mentioned, out of West Nyack, New York, elected to come to Rutgers for a chance to play. He wanted to play a lot, and he's playing a lot this season.
18-yard pickup. Ball on the BC 5. If Rutgers can take it in here, they'd be looking good. Can trying to unleash himself from that tackler at about the 2-yard line. And Can, that last play, showed tremendous agility, broke through one tackle. And as you say, Bobby just was able to maintain his balance while keeping those legs pumping. Can with 50 yards on 10 carries. Jack Bicknell saying, that's all right, we just got to stop him now.
And Dick Anderson saying, hey, we got to get a score. We got to move ahead of these guys. And this, the best offensive drive of the second half for Rutgers. They've been very quiet, but it's coming at the right time here in the 4th period.
Power I. From the 2. Can, touchdown. Rutgers just hops over Jimmy Can, the touchdown, as Rutgers scores their 2nd touchdown of the day.
Excellent drive, but the key play in the drive was McQueen coming back for that first down catch. And 3rd and 5, he made the catch, kept the drive alive, and Rutgers moves ahead here, 16-6.
Jimmy Can fired up. Dick Anderson has to be happy with his offensive troops. As you'd said, looked a little bit sluggish here in the second half until this last drive.
He hasn't used Can much. He's really featured Botti, the fullback, but he brought him in here in the 3rd period.
Good in-zone look at the extra point attempt. It's good. So with 6 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the game, Rutgers out in front, 17-6. Let's watch the TD again.
Out of the power I formation, everybody gets down in that offensive line, puts everybody down defensively on the line. Watch those guys, and Can just walks over the top. You had 6 linemen score there. If they score, the back has to score.
Our leave untouched. It's 17-6. Back after this word from your local stations.
Wear what the pros wear.
For your official NFL catalog, send $1 to 5550 North Elston Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60630.
Some of the Rutgers faithful who've made the trip up to the Boston area for this ball game. A big one for both teams, really, as we mentioned at the outset. Both teams would like to think they could position themselves for a possible bowl bid at some point. And if Rutgers can hang on here, they'd be 4-2 with Army and Temple coming up in the next couple of weeks, teams that they could beat. And for Boston College, they need to get back to that 500 mark.
They struggle today, and Rutgers has played tough on both sides of the football, but BC is capable, as we know, of scoring quickly. They've got the the offensive talent, both the quarterback and the receiver core. We're going to see the football in the air, that's for sure.
Don't forget they were down 31-19 to Pitt 2 weeks ago. Late in the fourth, about 6 minutes left, about this same amount of time, as Mike Sanders busts it up to about the 37-yard line. And of course, everybody knows what happened there. They came back with the 2 touchdowns from Power to Cherry, the final one on 4th down with 1:08 to go, and they got the job done. So it's never too late, and BC knows that very well.
BC knows it. BC is going to be looking for their money players. That's Tom Waddle and Marcus Cherry, and Rutgers has done a pretty good job of keeping those guys from getting the big play this afternoon. Let's see what happens.
Cherry to the near side. Sanders is split left along with Waddle, and the throw is up to Sanders, incomplete. Good coverage there by Glenn Miller.
Very interesting. They put the youngster Sanders out in the flank as an extra receiver, the tailback, and they throw him the ball right away. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him. Now we see coming in the ball game Kenrick Scarrett. He's a sophomore, lots of speed, only 2 receptions this year, but he can get deep.
Cherry steps out. Scarrett is in, and the Eagles need to make something happen here soon. Power wants to go up top. Almost caught by Waddle. Again, defended by Glenn Miller. And if Waddle had come down with that one, he could have added that to his list of fabulous catches.
It's almost like Pergolosi, number 44, the linebacker, who comes in these situations just looking for Waddle. Watch 44 show up in the picture besides the defensive back. There's the play, and look at Pergolosi, always in front of him, forcing the quarterback to elevate the ball. Excellent defense by Rutgers.
And although Waddle has made some fine catches today, he has not been the dominating receiver that he has been so often. All right, 3rd and 10. Cherry and Waddle split right and left respectively. Power going up, looking for his man Chamora, and he's got him. Good connection at the 34-yard line of Rutgers. Big 3rd down and 10 play. Derek Baker makes the stop.
They forget about the tight end 89 because they're looking for the wide receivers. Good job of protecting inside by BC. Excellent job of Power stepping up in the pocket and finding the tight end in the middle. Big gain, and they keep themselves alive with the football. Keep possession.
30-yard connection. Power to Chamora on the 3rd and 10 play. Good look at number 89, the big tight end, Sanders.
Fumble.
Did he fumble the ball? He did. The ball's still loose, and I believe Rutgers may have it. They say they do, and we'll see what happens when they unearth this pileup. And Rutgers, Darren Sellis seems to think they've got it.
What a play.
And again,
today's Great
Bob,
American Independent Football game between
football, Rutgers all the way. BC makes the big mistake just when they couldn't afford it.
What happened to BC today is they lost their outstanding tailback, Jimmy Bell, on the first play. Fraser, their backup, who's an outstanding back, got hurt. He hasn't played. They've gone with this young junior Sanders, who's played very well, but there he gives up the ball, puts it on the ground, just pops out, and BC another mistake, and of course Rutgers capitalized with 5:52, and you know what they want to do right now.
Ball control, 2nd turnover of the day for BC, and all those penalties, of course, which we've made mention of. 5:52 to go, 17-6, Rutgers in front. Erney is your quarterback. Handoff, Botti. Out of bounds at about the 36-yard line.
And Dick Anderson saying, hey, stay in bounds.
Exactly.
Don't get out of bounds.
Exactly.
That time. Scott Erney.
We were talking a little bit about looking ahead. Again, if Rutgers should win today, 4-2, they've got Army and Temple, a tough one at Pittsburgh, of course. West Virginia, of course, off today, but remains undefeated. They finish up at Colgate, so only 1 game on the road, Bob.
It's going to be a big one by that time, but they've got to win this one first. But they've got Army next week, and Army always gives them fits with the wishbone. Actually, option football has bothered them this year. Vanderbilt ran it very effectively, and we saw Syracuse run their own type of option, the freeze option, very effectively. As Dick Anderson looks on, he's got an injured player down there. But most of all he wants now are first downs and keep the ball in play. No turnover.
Well, the Rutgers kids, when they won that first game of the year, when they upset Michigan State, at that point ranked 15th in the country, that 17-13 game out in Michigan, that made them believe in themselves. They knew they had some talent, knew they had a good team, but when they did that, they said, hey, we can do some things this year. And of course, 2 weeks later, after they'd lost to Vanderbilt, they came up with the first win in, 70 years over Penn State. And win today would go a long way in solidifying Rutgers and their opportunity to go on this year to a bowl. It's Bill DeBeal who was down, number 67. The left guard helped to his feet.
You know, you got to think so far BC really has not had a good game. A lot of mistakes, penalties. You got to wonder about the week off. Now, I don't want to exaggerate that point, but they really did look flat. And they really didn't play with much spark on a few occasions. Their defense has come alive a little bit in the second half. They just don't have the same spark they had in that Pittsburgh game where they played an excellent football team and beat them at the end.
2nd and 5. 36-yard line. Botti, couple of yards. And again, one of the big points to make again, Rutgers' success today has largely been on the ground. 190 yards today on the ground, a 4.1 per rushing attempt. So Rutgers has mixed it up today, a good balance, but their rushing game has been very effective against Boston College, and BC has been easy to run against actually all year long, and Rutgers has proved that again today. You see the clock ticking down. 5:13, 5:12. 3rd and 3. Jimmy Can.
Oh, what an effort.
That's a great effort. Caesar almost had him at about the line of scrimmage, but he was able to get through that. Ronald Perryman and Matt Kelly combined for the tackle.
You got to be impressed with Can. Last week in a losing cause against Syracuse, he was without a doubt the most outstanding back on the field for Rutgers. Here they run this little counter with bringing him back from the wing back. Watch Caesar 88. He's got a hold of him, but he knows he's where those first down markers are. And look at him stretch out and get it. I mean, that's just a great effort by Can. And that's what they needed. We saw him on the drive for the touchdown. He did the same thing in crucial situations. They found a back in Jimmy Can. They always knew he could play. He's been hurt his first 2 years at Rutgers, and now he's come alive this year as a runner and a receiver.
So a big first down run from Can on that second effort. 4:28 to go, and here he is again. Can and Botti have been the story today for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, and I think both players have really shown their stuff today. 13 of 25 for 115 yards
passing
for Erney. So you see the difference.
Unbelievable. What a turnaround to think that somebody would come into this game and say that Scott Erney would only put the ball up that 25 times and come up with 115 yards, and they're winning the football by grinding it out on the ground.
And this is the same guy who threw for a school record 436 yards in that Vanderbilt loss and put it up 55 times. 3:48 to go. Ooh. Can hit hard that time. Number 43, Brian Williams, the man to put it to him.
BC knowing they're going to run the football, got 10 men up on that line of scrimmage, and now BC, with 2 timeouts remaining, decides to call one right here and stop the clock at 3:40.
Well, they got to stop him right here. No question about that with 3:40 to go. Get something done. You know, we talk about Rutgers season and what they've accomplished. Boston College, after that miserable opener against a tremendous Southern Cal team where they were defeated 34-7, came back to beat Cincinnati, then had a tough loss against Penn State, a game they could have won. Lost then to TCU. They gave them some problems, and the dramatic win over Pittsburgh. So you look at their record, 2-3. They've lost to Southern Cal and Penn State and TCU. So clubs you can't be embarrassed about losing to, obviously.
But as you look at this football game, anyone who knows BC football knows they've struggled on defense some, but they can score. To think that Rutgers has held them to 2 field goals today, that's the key. 2 field goals. You got to look back a long time where BC hasn't been able to put more points on the board.
(17-6), and I guess they've got a problem with the clock. That is the delay at this point as they're trying to reestablish some time. I think game clock and scoreboard clock.
I think again it has to be emphasized on the BC side of the football offensively that they went into this ball game and they played. As you look at the Rutgers offense, a final tally, there it is, 194 yards rushing, 115 passing, and you've emphasized the fact that they really put the game on the ground today, and it's been effective. But BC has had to play without Jim Bell and without Tim Fraser here in the second half. They had to go with an inexperienced tailback in Mike Sanders. He's played well, but he hasn't had that much game time.
And he's the one who coughed up the football a few minutes ago as BC was marching. Erney, handoff on the 3rd and 9 to Botti, and he is loose for the first down, and that hurts. Ronald Perryman finally drives him out at about the 42, and that was the play, the situation where the Eagles had to come through. A 17-yard gain by Botti.
Unbelievable. He runs outside. Watch, this is a counter play, and he bounces it outside, and Caesar, 88, gets tied up with the tight end, 82, Jenkins, and creates that situation. He should never permit him to get outside of him. He did, and Botti, who's been the story today on the ground, gets the first down, keeps the drive going, and Rutgers has possession.
So Botti now with 137 yards on the ground for the day. Quite an afternoon. 3:38 to go. Again, he's getting a workout, isn't he? Up the gut, and gets the ball to near the 35-yard line where Brian Williams meets him.
You got to say a lot. You got to really praise the Rutgers offensive line. At left tackle, Bill Hyros got a start today. Nick Erter and Bill DeBeal at the left guard position. Eric's in the center. John Kutz and Steve Tardy, all of them have done the job today. The offensive line blocking, protecting the quarterback when he threw the ball, but most of all, permitting this running game to just ramble.
Jack Bicknell, who at this point with 3:03 to go has to look for a miracle. First thing they've got to do is strip that ball and get it back for the offense. 2nd and 3, Can, right side. Gain of a yard, maybe 2 yards on the play as the clock continues to tick down. 2:44 to go.
Interesting football team, Rutgers. Their ability to win on the road. This year they went to Michigan State. You mentioned earlier they won in the Big Ten. They went to Penn State. They won. Here they are at BC, and it looks like they're winning again. They play very well on the road and play very well against some tough opponents.
I love the comment that Anderson made after the Penn State game. I don't remember one that made me weak in the knees like that baby did. Made all the Rutgers followers feel the same way, I'm sure. Been a long, frustrating series with Penn State. 2:12 to go as Rutgers continues to pound away, trying to get that first down, which would really pretty much seal this thing away with 2:04 to go.
That was a 3rd down call. They're probably a little bit short here, and it's going to be 4th down with the ball sitting on the 32-yard line. You know for sure he's going to go for it, because if he gives it up here, they still got almost 70 yards to look at.
Exactly.
If he gets the first down, as you mentioned, it's over.
144, 143. Scarlet Knights football on the BC 32. Looks like the high formation. That is Can.
Jump.
Oop. Somebody jumped over Gilday. And that, I think, maybe was what they were trying to do. Trying to draw him across. That's going to give him the first down. Chris Gilday, the guilty party.
That's the story of the day. You can look at the penalties and you look at the mistakes, and BC has just been in trouble, created their trouble. And
Jack is not a happy guy.
No, this has been a frustrating day for him. I think he's really trying to say that the center is influenced. How he's doing it, whether the center is moving the football, but whatever it is, that one official has had to hear a lot today from Jack. Oh,
should have a pair of earplugs with him, huh? Been a rough day for him. Is Jack letting his frustrations out here? 1:18 to go. 1st and 10 for Rutgers, and this baby is over. Erney will fall to the turf at about the 30, and bodies come tumbling over. 1:04 to go, and I hear the Hey Hey Na Na Goodbye song wafting over from the Rutgers section of the bleachers across the way.
Well, we said in the top of this show that both teams were hanging on this game, and Rutgers has played well, and this is a big win for them to keep them alive as they look back at what they've accomplished already and what's ahead of them. They've got hopes for a bowl, as Scott Erney has told you, that's his big ambition, to take this club to a bowl.
And Dick Anderson, of course, always cautious, never one to play one game more important than another. He would not admit this week that this was a pivotal game in his club season, but of course it is.
I think for the Rutgers program, they're all pivotal games. They're at a point now where people are giving them national recognition, and wins like this make it even more important. They've never had that before, and although Dick does tend to play it down, you hit it right on the head. this is a big win for him. And again, he's had good success against BC. This will be his 3rd victory against BC, 3rd straight victory. They won up here 2 years ago. They beat him at home for homecoming last year, and they're going to win today. Jack Bicknell, he's got to regroup. He's got a lot of big games left, but he's got to do it with some injured players.
In fact, he's got to play West Virginia next week, and that'll be a chore, obviously. He's just walking out his frustration right now, back and forth, kind of wearing out a spot in the turf there between the 35 and 45.
Well, he's not happy. He knows this wasn't a good effort, both sides, and the frustration sets in. Got a couple of tough calls there, of course, that may have made a difference, but really, when you look up on the scoreboard, there's only 6 points coming from 2 field goals, and Jack's got to be very disappointed with that effort.
What a job the Rutgers defense has done today. The defense by Rutgers, the running game offensively, and a mistake-free game on both sides of the ball for Rutgers. Those are the stories today as Erney falls on the football again with a minute to go in the contest here. Are you for real? Scarlet Fever. Well, I think maybe at this point in the season, 6 games through with wins over Michigan State, Penn State, and Boston College in a matter of 45 seconds, that we can say Rutgers is for real.
They're for real. They're gutty kids. They play tough. They may not have all the talents in the world of some of these other teams, but when you play them, you're going to have to beat them. They don't beat themselves. They proved it today with very few mistakes. That Jack is still jawing over there. BC does not have any more timeouts, and this will be the last play of the football game.
25, 24, 23 seconds to go. Erney again to the turf. And that's just going to about do it here at Boston College. The clock ticks down, and Jack Bicknell will make the trek across the field as the final 5 seconds tick off. Dick Anderson comes across to meet him midway, exchanging greetings. So Dick Anderson and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights win it 17-6. Back with more in a moment from Boston.
The challenger, Sugar Ray Leonard.
I'm like his worst nightmare. I keep coming back to win again and again.
The WBC champion, Canada's golden boy, Donnie Lalonde.
After this fight, he won't want to come back again.
The motivation, not 1, but 2 world championship belts in one night. November 7th, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Leonard versus Lalonde in a full tilt battle for all the gold. Brought to you by Coors Extra Gold Draft.
You're invited today to a colorful show of smoothness, of value, of style. The Great American Road Show by Buick. Yeah, it's a powerful cast with exciting new stars. Cars that were born to perform. Yeah, the Great American Road Show by Buick.
As you can see, the stands here at Alumni Stadium very quickly emptying out as the fans here for homecoming have seen the Eagles drop a 17-6 decision to the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Rutgers going to 4-2 on the year. BC to 3-3. Big win for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. We'll have more after this message from your local station. Stay with us.